Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Are you going to tell me you like my sassy jacket? He told me I look like I was a flashback to the 80s. Nice. Merry Christmas in there. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas?
Is anybody else not down with Christmas carols before Thanksgiving? Like, I don't mean to be a Scrooge about it, but honestly, everywhere you go, you can't get away from it. I remember when I tried to play them in the house several years ago when Michael and Jack were little, and Joe came home and he's like, oh my gosh, turn it off. And I was like, wow, Scrooge. And he's like, no, that's been playing at the hospital since Halloween. All day, all night. Well, I get it. I can see that.
I live in the same situation.
Yeah? What? Kate has Christmas carols on? Well, I can see that.
No.
What?
She hears it all day at work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, when you manage 10 Hallmark stores, yeah, you're going to get a lot of Christmas.
And on top of that, they have Christmas in July.
Oh, yeah. She's doing her buying in like February.
Yeah.
She's got year-round Christmas. I can imagine. Hello, it's Wisconsin in the house. Hi, Punxsutawney.
And I think Jason gave up Employee of the Month. He did not show today.
I'm kind of disappointed by that, but
by default,
I'm just kidding, Jason. He's mailing out. We got the V-neck rock blue shirts in, and he was all horny to get those out, which is great. Come on, you can use that word in many ways, and I don't mean it in any weird way, but your juvenile reaction to it. You're my sixth son. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. We're like Diamond and Silk. That's right. We need to get a shtick like that.
Yeah, no, we really don't.
You almost just choked yourself by doing that.
Wendy needed to wash her camo shirt. It was too big.
Yes, I had my camo. I was going to wear it today, and I did not have a full load of laundry. And so I wanted to be particular. With the cost of everything going up, we have to make these smart decisions in life.
Dallas, Texas.
What's going on? Hi, Jerry. Hi, Yvonne and Elise. Great to have you along. Is that Joni? Jeannie? Cheryl?
That's 51 years.
We got Minnesota. Well, the font is a little small. I'm just going to say that on my phone.
Size matters.
Well, then there's that. Okay, Crawford County, Pennsylvania. I know what you meant. Unlike you, my face and head aren't in the gutter all the time. Mm-hmm. That's right. Sorry.
Wow.
Tennessee, what's up?
South Carolina.
All right, Maryland. You both have jackets where you are. Is it cold? It is. Jerry, it snowed last night.
Yeah. And Wendy didn't pay the heating bill. So.
Oh, please. We work in a beautiful building where literally nobody is, which is kind of a sad indictment of where we are.
I kind of like it.
But it is kind of nice. I'll agree with you on that. And so we're all kind of connected climately to each other and a little chilly. And the thing blows right down on us, too.
Yes.
So you're like, wow.
It's like right there.
Kind of uncomfortable. But they're so nice here. We love them. Springfield, Missouri. Hello.
Alabama.
Hi, Gio. Give Carol a kiss for me. We've got Lois in California. Hi, Lois.
This hat is not from Wendy Bell Radio.
No.
So, no, it is not for sale. But we do have beanies that Jason's supposed to be getting in today.
I really like the beanie. I do like having the puff on top, but these beanies are really streamlined. And when I'm going to wear mine, you know it's a bad hair day. So it could really be any day.
I was just going to say.
I was going to take the wind out of your wings there.
To be honest with you, what difference? I can't tell the difference when you come in. What's the difference between your hair when you come in as to when you go to the bathroom to quote unquote fix it and come back?
Because my hair is wet when I drive in, and what I do is I scrunch it and I take little clips and I ball it up in clips, which makes me look like a serial killer. And then I come in and then I take it down and I let it dry and zhuzh a little, and then I twist it and put it back. I haven't used a hairdryer in probably 10 years on my hair. 5 years. So I know that you guys are really concerned about this, so I'm glad we deviated for you.
I did not totally shave.
I like you with scruff. I like the white scruff.
I just like it because it just knocks down the cold a little bit.
That's why I don't shave my legs anymore. Just kidding.
Is that why you don't shave your lip?
My lip. Hey, they're getting better. Can you tell they're getting better?
I cannot.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you pay attention. We've got Gurney, Illinois. Hi, Jeff. Great to have you along. Look at that. Andrea calls us beautiful people. All of us beautiful people.
I am.
Wow.
I'm man pretty.
That's exactly right. That's great. Loving you guys. Moved from Pittsburgh to Alabama. You know, I'm kind of jealous. Gotta say. I've not been to Alabama. I've got to travel a little bit. I've listened to them, but... Oh, my gosh. You're mental. I used to say play ball after the pledge. Someone got mad, so hence the baseball bat. Play ball. Oh, we have a funny story about that.
We just can't tell it.
We just can't tell you about it because there are people who get their panties in a bunch if we do.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's rock and roll. Share, please. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Good morning, America, and welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program. Delighted as always to share 3 hours of live common sense conservatism with you today and every weekday. If you have not done so, please remember, download our app, Wendy Bell Radio Network. We're going to be expanding, offering new content there, and we really want it to be a place where like-minded, American-loving folks can go to get honesty, truth, and science. You can get everything there in one fell swoop at the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Download it today. Costs you nothing. Will enrich your life in ways you can't even imagine. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I kind of sounded like you, Brock. I said under God. So I beg your pardon. My inner Pittsburgh was coming out a little bit. I got to carve away at it. Got to come back to the light.
Come over to the dark side.
I'm not coming to the dark side where you say one. You know, we have our dialects, ladies and gentlemen. We know you guys are paying attention in all 50 states and several countries, and we are delighted to have you along for the ride every single day. It was interesting. We were working on Thanksgiving, and I had read a story, and this was the story that preceded the very serious CBS News report, that if you were so anxious about the guests coming to your house and what their vaccination status was, that you should keep them in the garage, maybe give them a cocktail and a rapid test. And this was an honest conversation, and Brock and I are looking at each other through the glass here in our 2 studios. And I was like, wait a minute, are they for real? And yes, they were for real. I think we preceded that story with a very uber liberal take on using the Thanksgiving holiday as an opportunity to talk to your conservative family members or friends who would be gathered around your dinner table and to basically beat the conservatism out of them. This was the time to have this rational discussion this liberal writer was talking about, which I thought was really quite rich, because she's completely on the wrong side of history and facts and reality and data, if you will. And so I have to ask myself this question: do people on the left realize that they've dug for themselves such an outrageously, outlandishly indefensible hole that I'm not so sure they're able to climb out now? Do they know this, or are their clone trooper chips activated and they are full hook, line, and sinker mixing and drinking the Kool-Aid of destroying America leftism? I don't know, but I think this is a fine time for us to have this realistic conversation that goes a little something like this. You do nothing well. You have done nothing to benefit America. You are a danger to our democracy. Your plans are corrupt and evil, I will say that. And the more you try to lie your way out of it, the more onto it more Americans become. And so I was just kind of going over a small sketching, if you will, on my little sketch pad here. If you're watching on the stream, I like to just write stream of consciousness things during the day. And I find I have no problem filling 8, 10, 12 minutes because I speak to you from the heart as an observer of human behavior, as a voracious reader of the garbage being put out there every day. And so I started my little sheet here saying to myself, any liberal out there, any leftist listening, and you know who you are, and we're glad you're here because one of these days, the truth and the common sense from what I speak will permeate that thick membrane around your brain that prevents you from seeing reality. And you might just wake up and come over to the light. But I'd love to ask you leftists out there, exactly what going on in America today? Oh, heck, since January 20th of this year, are you down with? What do you support? What policies have been made that benefit you, your children, or anybody around you? Can you name a singular focus of this excruciatingly corrupt administration and the leftist army around it? Can you defend anything that is going on, please? Because I'm all ears. I would love to have this conversation with you. Because every single story I read, every news report I would pay attention to, every radio program that could possibly pop on in my car for a couple minutes here and there, underscores your abject depravity and failure. And I'm sure that's complicated. But we on the right side of America, and that's not just the conservative side, but it is what is right for all Americans. It is not voting based on sexual orientation. It is not voting based on color of skin. It is voting based on what is best for the United States and all 330 million individually unique people in it. We have a very different view of the calamitous, disastrous road you have dragged us unwillingly down. Because let's make no mistake, there is not a snowball's chance in hell that you won in November. There is no chance 81 million people voted for a bumbling man who can't even read a teleprompter, let alone say the word Omicron correctly. There is no way. So I thought we would go through a few of the things that I'm intrigued, and I would love to hear anybody's defense of. Why is it okay for you on the left to try to corrupt our children as fast as you have? Why is it okay for you to infiltrate our school libraries with pedophilic books? Did you guys hear that this is going on again in Loudoun County, Virginia? This is where ground zero of the parental pushback against these corrupt school boards and this National Association of School Board whatevers who tried to mobilize with Joe Biden's administration, tried to mobilize the Department of Justice and the FBI to label caring parents as terrorists. But then looks at a true terrorist in Darrell Brooks, the black supremacist who mowed into a crowd of more than 60 people in Waukesha, Wisconsin, killing 6 of them. He gets the pass It was his car that did it, not the human being, not the vile, white-hating, Jew-hating monster that he is. Why does that resonate with you? Does that make sense to you? Why is it okay that you're trying to hold the proverbial gun to millions of Americans' heads and forcing them to do something that they fundamentally don't want to do, while simultaneously opening up the doors to illegal immigrants who have no business being here? And then you have the audacity to suggest that we should pay for them to be enriched in the land that we've created and worked so hard to make beautiful. How do you define that? How do you defend it? And while we're speaking of these mandates, can you think of the word mandate for a minute? Mandate. At what point ever in American history have you been forced against your will to do something you don't want to do? It only came to be after January 20th of this year. What about Russian collusion? What about all your lies? What about the fabrications? What about impeaching a president who you spent 4 years demonizing, who we have yet to see do one thing wrong? Tell us what he did that was so wrong that you accused him of, that warranted dual impeachments. That's right, he didn't. He was effective. He loved America. He spoke for we, the people, America first. And you hate America. And so you tried to destroy him. How do you defend that? Tell me. I could go on and on and on. The fabrication of January 6th, the overblowing it because you've got nothing else to hold on to. Meanwhile, there's video out today of some Antifa Black Lives Matter miscreant taking a sledgehammer to the office of a GOP person somewhere, I don't know where, absolutely destroying it. How come that person doesn't face charges and isn't in your DC Gitmo lockup as your January 6th offenders are? How do you defend it? How do you defend election fraud? How are you okay with fundamentally lying to so many hundreds of millions of Americans, to cheat, to steal, to pillage? How are you okay with that? How do you defend it? See, it is not we, those who believe in common sense values, who sit very comfortably on the right side of the political spectrum, both figuratively and literally. It is not we who have any defending to do, because we know who we are. We know who we love. And what we love is America. And we think you're dangerous. We're going to discuss this a little bit more in the moments ahead as we go through some more of the failures of the left, the epic fails that have come to fruition, that have seen the beautiful and glorious light of day. And we will shine even more light on them, because you cannot run and you cannot hide from your lies, from your deceit, and your attempted destruction of the greatest place on planet Earth. For we are warriors, and you will not beat us. I was sitting down with Dr. Darren Dubiak at Advanced Integrative Medical 360 yesterday, and his wife, Alexandra, who is a certified nurse practitioner in the practice, was talking about their $199 gift certificates. And I was thinking to myself, of all the gift certificates, of all the, I don't know what to get someone moments we have in life, particularly around the holidays, can you think of a more appropriate and meaningful, loving gift than the gift certificate to Advanced Integrative Medical 360? For with that $199 piece of paper, you tell somebody who's special to you, I want you to go get this ridiculously extensive blood workup that you get only at AIM 360. I want you to find the answers to what's going on in your body. I want you to get an inner look at your biomarkers and your hormones so that you can get on the path to feeling the way you want to feel, to lose the weight you want to freaking lose. $199. This is what they offer in all of their locations. If you don't live in Pennsylvania, you can still get one. And you can still give it to someone in one of 47 states where AIM 360 operates. Check them out. Go to integrativemedical360.com. I love these people. They change lives. 412-227-9255. 412-227-9255. integrativemedical360.com. At what point are we all going to wake up, ladies and gentlemen? At what point are we going to wake up and have these conversations with the leftists in our lives? I'm personally rolling up my sleeves. I'm done playing nice because I want my country back, and we're going to take it back. Don't go anywhere. Wendy Bell Radio Network coming up right after this. Man, that opening monologue just goes so fast for me. Zip on by.
You know, they give so much
fodder every day.
Every day.
You know, Brock and I will start chirping at each other. We usually take
3 hours.
Maybe 3 hours. So we're done here at noon. Somewhere in the 3 o'clock hour, we start texting each other. And he'll send
Usually
me.
It's how great I am, yeah.
And we will send each other just little blips of things that we've seen in the headlines. And it's almost like just when you believe it couldn't become more preposterous, it becomes more preposterous. I think we need to talk about it more.
We started, editing sound
yesterday afternoon.
3:15, 3:30.
Oh, some guy named George wants me to help me with the app. Sorry, George. I've got a guy who's way better than you. His name is Jason.
How do you know he's way better?
Because I know Jason.
But you don't know George. Don't be a liberal. Don't judge right away.
Wow. I should tweet about it right away. That would definitely seal it.
That would be okay.
And I should accuse George of being a racist.
Right.
That would seal the deal.
And that's why you would never work with George.
Well, I'd want to know if George wanted to get in touch with his privilege first. Whatever he looks like, he's got to be privileged.
It doesn't matter.
He got my email address, so he's definitely privileged.
He's either a racist or what did they call Larry Owner?
He is the black face of white supremacy.
Yes. So that's George's two options.
That's code for Uncle Tom.
Right.
That's a nice way of saying
George.
it. Yeah. You know, it's interesting when it says we can help you develop your own mobile apps and then they spell words wrong. Your name isn't George, it's something in India. Right? But nice try.
Was that on the stream or was that an email?
No, it's an email.
Oh.
Don't you wonder how these people find you?
They pay for information.
Right.
I was being serious about it. I thought this George guy actually wanted to help.
No, it's just one of those form things that they send out to people.
All right, here we go.
Whatever. You can also get into a pretty feisty game of why is it okay that ... Why is it okay that the Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, was allowed to sit on the board of an electric bus company and is now pushing the very technologies that said company, in which she owns like 250,000 shares of stock, or did up until recently, is part of the business she's pushing? Why is that okay? Why does it make sense to Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, to flippantly quip that, you know, if you buy an electric vehicle, well, heck, at least you won't have to pay for gas prices. You won't have to worry about gas prices anymore, when the average electric vehicle costs more than the typical family's household income. Oh, but you get $12,500 back. He says, what a bargain.
Can I give one that's the major hypocrite?
Sure.
Why was it okay for the president to say, I would never get this vaccine?
And now forcing you to have it.
Because Donald Trump's fingerprints
were right.
But now you have to have it or you can't.
Why is it? Yeah, that's a good one. Why is it okay for gangs of marauding looters and ne'er-do-wells to go in malls all across America and loot and pillage? Did you guys know that more people were killed on Black Friday outside shopping malls too than were killed at the insurrection on January 6th? Let that sink in for a minute. Where is the dizzying amount of investigating into that? Oh, that's right. Why is it that the left, why is it okay for people on the left to champion people like Jussie Smollett and Bubba Wallace, who are lying, fabricating farces, and for faux heroes like George Floyd? Why is it okay for them to champion them and have multiple funerals for George Floyd? Oh, for race baiter Al Sharpton to fly all over to the golden caskets du jour. And yet somebody like Kyle Rittenhouse, who's found not guilty by a jury of his peers, by the justice system that we all have to live by, and it's okay for him to be called a murderous white supremacist. How's that okay? How are you okay with that? How about quid pro quo? Why is Donald Trump ultimately impeached for quid pro quo that was never proven when we have proof that Joe Biden, as then vice president, did do that, and as president right now is withholding $130 million in military aid that's necessary for our allies in Egypt, unless Egypt turns over, what, a dozen or 16 terrorists? Accused terrorists with ties to the Muslim Brotherhood? Really? Why is that okay? Where's the investigation into that? Why is it okay for Dr. Fauci to lie to Congress and for the media to cover it up? Do you know how hard it is to find his testimony anymore on the internet? It seems like our friendly partners in the big tech arena have gone through great lengths to make it ever more complicated to find that very testimony where Dr. Doom lied before Congress. We have it, of course, and it deserves to be resuscitated because he is America's #1 danger. Why is it okay? And how do you defend any of this, dear leftist friends? I'd love to hear anybody out there sit toe-to-toe with me. Go through it. Tell me how this makes you feel. Are you liking the path that we're on? Are you delighted, as Governor Tom Wolf, when waving his magic wand in Pennsylvania, says yesterday that heating prices in Pennsylvania are going to go up as high as 50%? You better like it, ladies and gentlemen, because your life is just getting a little bit more expensive and a lot more inconvenient. This is just the beginning of the new leftist way. Defend it. You can't. You think I'm all about bad news today? I am not. Big news for people in the medical field in 10 states. What a judge yesterday ruled. Don't miss it. Coming up on the Wendy Bell radio program. I have a sneeze in my nose.
Look at the light. Look into the light.
All right. Let's see what we've got here. So I want to thank our relatively new sponsor, Piccadilly Chimney Sweeps, for getting in touch with me. You know, when a business owner gets in touch with me and says, you know what, I'm interested in learning about how to sponsor your program. I'm down with your message. I like how you deliver it. I like how you love America. I feel the same way. And it is the values that you have, that you share on your program, that I have and I share with my colleagues in my business, that we also bestow upon our clients. And when Piccadilly Chimney Sweeps got in touch with me and they said, I want to back your show, and I started talking to them about their business model, I was behind it 100%. These are two brothers here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Piccadilly Chimney Sweeps operates in Beaver, Washington, and Allegheny counties. These two brothers who decided to start this business 35 years ago. And if you can stay with your brother for 35 years, that's a pretty big deal. What they do is pretty important. And it's important, particularly this time of year when most of us are firing up our fireplaces. You want to make sure that your home is safe and that it is warm and it's got that wonderful feeling that you know you need in the wintertime. And having your chimney, having it inspected, having it cleaned, having the liner checked to make sure it's intact, having the damper examined, the firebox maybe repointed, the stuff on the top, the crown, the masonry up there, make sure there's no critters that have been nesting there in the spring or in the summer. This is a big time to do it. And Piccadilly Chimney Sweeps are the guys I recommend. Each Piccadilly Chimney Sweep is past the rigorous Chimney Safety Institute of America chimney sweep certification process. So look, don't just pick any chimney sweep, Piccadilly Chimney. Easy to get in touch with by going to piccadillychimney.com or calling 412-221-0196. They are fully insured. Piccadilly Chimney.
Do you think they'd cut a hole in the side of my house and stick something out so I could burn some?
I'm not so sure they would do it as
coffee
rogue.
Table.
As rogue as you're feeling like you're getting a little worried about your home heating costs.
It will burn the coffee table.
Mm-hmm. Start looking for scraps.
Right.
I'm going to walk through the cemetery and find the dead lumber that have been sitting there for a long time. Dry it out.
Cut that one tree down that I've been wanting to cut down.
That's right, because you're tired of raking the leaves. Let's just chop it down. That's enough. This is big news. I'm very excited about this news.
What news?
This is the vaccine, Biden's vaccine mandate halted by a federal judge. This is very big. It happened.
The Sixth Circuit?
8th. Well, this is in Missouri, but
there's one in the Sixth Circuit that I know a lot of companies are a part of, and Daily Wire is one of them. That's
they've been very vocal
about the asking their people if they had the vaccine or not. And he's like, it's none of my business. And these guys are putting their money where their mouth is, and I'm not giving them any free plugs. Put their money where their mouth is. They're he's vaccinated, and he's like, no, it's not my right to ask someone or tell someone they have to get something.
I agree. And it's interesting. The majority of people who have that stance, who are going in a legal direction, are vaccinated.
Yes.
They're vaccinated for whatever reason they decide, and I think it's great. Do what's right for you. I get it. 100%. Hi, Ann. What's going on? Got Regina and Rose. So let me do this quickly, and then we'll move along into the 9:30 as scripted, just so we're on track.
We've never been on track.
Oh,
why start now?
Stop. I get excited.
Is that fake news?
No, just stop. Be nice.
We get these every day.
I get passionate.
And it's a great resource to have if we ever use it.
Come on. You need to be a little bit more generous.
I mean, sometimes 11 will happen at 10. 10 will happen at 11:30.
Hey, it's good to have blocking and then roll with it and flow with it and ad lib. It is what it is. It's called live radio. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Employee of the month, Jason, is going to hopefully be back tomorrow. Lisa is sending me 10,000 things. Lisa, stop.
Maybe I'll take off tomorrow then.
Okay.
Everything will
There's a lot of threats going on.
Maybe...
I don't think it's very Yuletide-y. Just going to say it. It's unfortunate, but.
What's your biggest fear?
Of you having another seizure?
Which would mean no one was sitting here. Here we go.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You are tuned into the one and only Wendy Bell radio program. I'm excited to have you along, and this is big news. If I were to count up the thousands of emails and messages we've received on the stream from people just like you in medical professions who, because of Biden's completely unethical, illegal, unconstitutional mandate, again, think of that word, mandate. You know, it's one thing to have mandatory taxes where you know a percentage of what you make is going to hopefully go somewhere that doesn't suck. But unfortunately, under this administration, you can't depend on that anymore. It's another thing to be fearful of something that you inherently don't trust being forced into your body. The number one thing we get from people is sheer panic. I love my job. Last year, I was a frontline worker. I was a hero. I worked double shifts at the hospital. I changed my clothes in my garage, worried that I was going to bring home something that would infect my family. The burnout in the medical field, and then the audacity of this administration to about face and demonize yesterday's heroes and make them today's villains if they don't acquiesce to the demands of the autocratic ruling class. This is good news for you. And its extrapolation beyond the 10 states impacted is decided. Federal judge's ruling halts vaccine mandate for healthcare workers in 10 states. I found this at 5 News Online. Literally, I have to hunt and peck to find some. I have no idea what 5 News Online is. I know it's in Arkansas. That's all I can tell you. But I wasn't going to give you CNN. That's a fact. The vaccine mandate requires healthcare workers across the country to receive the first dose of the COVID-19 jab before December 6th. A federal judge, and this is 4:00 yesterday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This broke just hours ago. A federal judge on Monday, November 29th, blocked Joe Biden administration from enforcing a COVID-19 vaccine mandate on healthcare workers in 10 states. This is the first legal challenge against the federal requirement. The court order says the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services had no authority from Congress to enact the vaccine mandate for providers participating in the 2 government healthcare programs for the elderly, disabled, and poor. One more time, the judge saying CMS has no authority to force this upon those of you who work in this healthcare profession, specifically for the elderly, the disabled, and the poor. Quote, it would require that all employees and regularly scheduled contractors would have had to have at least the first vaccine shot, said Rachel Bunch, executive director of the Arkansas Healthcare Association. The preliminary injunction by St. Louis-based U.S. Judge Matthew Shelp applies to a coalition of suing states that includes Alaska, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Similar lawsuits also are pending in other states. Quote, there's likely to be an appeal of that order by higher courts, said Nate Reed, who's an unemployment work attorney with Mitchell Williams law firm, as high as the U.S. Supreme Court to determine whether or not CMS authority to issue the rule would be valid. Now, Reed believes action against the injection, I think it's injunction, would take place soon. I would expect the preliminary injunction order to be appealed by the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals. Let's talk about that. So the Biden administration is going to push back. They're going to say, whoa, this judge in Missouri has no bearing. We rule. Well, actually, you don't. There is a separation of power. And states have the ability to do what they want to do. Never in my lifetime has the federal government swooped in with such flimsy evidence, with a virus that is greater than 99% survivable for the lion's share of our population, to force you to be part of the money-making operation the government is cashing in on, and Big Pharma. So who is the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals? Well, there are 11 authorized judicial posts, and the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals is located in St. Louis, Missouri. Of these 11 people, and this is why I believe this is very encouraging. I have to take a step back before I even tell you about the breakdown of these judges. I want you to think for a minute what we are fighting against. We are fighting against a government believing it has the right to make you nothing better than a human lab rat. With a vaccine that neither prevents you from getting whatever it says it's supposed to be fighting, doesn't keep you from getting it, doesn't keep you from spreading it, doesn't keep you from being hospitalized with it, doesn't keep you from dying from it. And that's the rub. You cannot prove, as you're trying to demand, that yesterday's frontline heroes must get this or lose their jobs. You cannot force that with something that is not proven to work. You cannot. How many X's do they have to? This is like Family Feud. Like, how many times are they going to X out of this struggle before enough people are like, you can bugger off? Not a chance. So let's talk about this Eighth Circuit Court, because it's going to undoubtedly land there next, and it will land there expeditiously. Of these 11 judges, and I do take great solace in that, one was appointed by George H.W. Bush. 5 were appointed by his son, President George W. Bush. 1 was appointed by Barack Obama. And 4 are Trump appointees. If I'm going to do my math, rudimentary though it might be, that's 10 of 11 appointees made by Republican presidents. I will tell you this, if this is elevated to the United States Supreme Court and the High Court doesn't do what's right, I will absolutely have no faith ever again in the whole guise of justice in this country. I mean, we've gotten so used to this gross overreach, this every single day stepping over the boundaries of power, that it's almost normalized, that we've just sort of accepted it. Just get the shot. Just do it. Really? Absolutely not. And the more that these science people want to force vaccines on children, oh, hell no. This might be a good time for us to flash back a bit, because Joe Biden decided to emerge from his hyperbaric chamber yesterday and speak a little bit about where we are with the Omicron variant. The man can't even say Omicron. Like, really? Really? But before we go into what he said yesterday, I think it's appropriate to talk about where he's been. And in the campaign, debates, and other assorted public speaking engagements, Biden was very clear about what a failure Donald Trump was when it came to coronavirus. So cut number 1, I think this is exactly what Joe Biden's focus has been. I think we should review before we march into where we are today. Go.
And we're in a circumstance where the president thus far and still has no plan, no comprehensive plan. What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe, and give them the wherewithal, the financial resources to be able to do that.
Okay, so that was Biden on the campaign trail. Masks, 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 right? This is his big thing. This is what he's been clinging to. His second campaign clip further underscores this is really one of the cornerstones of his attack. You know, those pieces of fabric that have been proven to do virtually nothing for you except make it difficult for you to be able to breathe freely. Cut number 2.
If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives.
Since when? Did you guys ever remember that we'd save 100? This is like the Imperial College saying 2.2 million people are going to die. I love when they throw out these numbers that don't ever add up, right? So this was very interesting. Peter Doocy, God bless him. Brock has a man crush on him. I think it's okay to admit that. You do. And I think everybody...
I'm secure enough to say
I think it's good that you can get in touch with your inner love. So Peter Doocy talking to Jen Psaki yesterday, inquiring why it is that the hypocrite Biden family seems to like to wave its wand of edicts with people and never seems to follow their own laws and rules. Go.
Is there concern that when the president says today, please wear your mask indoors in public settings around other people, and he doesn't do that, that it's going to make it harder to get people to follow him?
I think you see the American people, and all of you see the president wearing a mask every time he comes out to an event, when he's sitting in meetings, and certainly he will continue to model behavior he hopes the American people will follow, not for his benefit, but to save their own lives and the lives of their friends and neighbors.
We're going to save lives. Is she the worst? That's why Chris Wallace is such a joke. Called her one of the best press secretaries ever. Okay, she's an absolute abject disaster. It would be difficult to lie as frequently as she lies. These aren't little twists. These aren't embellishments. It's a flat out lie. And by the way, let us not forget, this certainly isn't the first time. I mean, hobnobbing in a store in Nantucket that clearly says you must wear a mask. Well, not if you're the president of the United States. Not if you're the first lady reading to a bunch of little school kids yesterday. Did you see that? They're all socially distanced on the floor, right? Just like Joe Biden when he went to go try to fill an auditorium and he couldn't during the campaign. Everybody in their little circles. All the kids are masked, not Jill Biden. Interesting. Do you guys remember the whole restaurant thing where Joe and Jill decided for a night out on the town in Washington, D.C., and they decided to go to a posh restaurant? Oh, that's right. Maskless. Go.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. There is a mask requirement inside D.C. restaurants, yet President Biden and the First Lady were not wearing masks while walking around a D.C. restaurant on Saturday. Why?
Well, I think what we were referring to is a photo of them walking out of a restaurant after they had eaten, masks in hand, where they had not yet put them back on yet. So I would say, of course, there are moments when we all don't put masks back on as quickly as we should. But I don't think we should lose the forest through the trees here, and that our objective here is to get more people vaccinated, make sure that that schools and companies around the country can put in place requirements to save more lives and keep people safer, and not overly focus on moments in time that don't reflect overarching policy.
It was not just exiting the restaurant, though. He was walking through the restaurant with no mask on. There is a carve out for people under 2 or people who are actively eating or drinking. So I'm just curious why the president was doing this.
I think I just addressed it, Peter.
Okay.
I think I just addressed it, Peter, is up there for code with, dang, you just hosed me. We're going to talk a little bit about Jen Psaki and that answer right there. Brock, where's the one place that you're required when in a restaurant to wear your mask? What is that again? Are you supposed to wear? Oh, that's right. Walking to the table and leaving the table. Right. Unless you're a Biden. Got it. Okay. I want to thank Dr. Charles Simkovich. I love that I just was on his website and I was looking at some of the testimonials and some of the stories that people share about their sensitivity to light and to sound, and their difficulty concentrating and hearing loud noises after suffering a traumatic brain injury, after being concussed. And what do you do? Where do you go? Did you know that there is such a place that focuses specifically on that kind of brain injury? And it is called the Simkovich Concussion Institute. And athletes, professional and weekend warriors, they go see Dr. Charles Simkovich. People like you, like me, who have accidents, falling off ladders or in car accidents, what have you, falling off a bicycle. When you conk your head and you're wronged in your head, you don't have hope. It's desperate. Dr. Simkovich can fix that. Not just take away the symptoms, but physically heal the brain. It has to do with blood flow. It has to do with spinal fluid. It has to do with his hands, what he does. Make your appointment. It costs you nothing. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Tell him that you're a friend of the Wendy Bell radio program. He will delight in meeting you and getting you on the path to complete recovery. When we come back, more of this, the rules are for thee, but not for me, as we then tip our toe a little bit into the world of Chris Cuomo's living hell. What a bummer. Don't miss it. It's coming up next on the Wendy Bell radio program.
I like the fact that Jen Psaki, when asked about him walking around the bookstore or whatever store he was in, she says, "I'm not familiar with the story."
How are you not familiar with?
I mean, what do you?
The media were all over him, and you're the press secretary.
Maybe that's the story she didn't know. Kay.
Facts.
She's a
piece of work.
Yes.
Little Miss Sunshine. I dig this, by the way. Does it look cool?
I don't know. Kate's been talking about it for multiple days.
Wow. Did you give her one?
I ordered one.
Okay. I'm special. I got it first.
Well, we weren't even going to sell them until Jason showed us.
It is so nice. It's just, it feels right in the hand.
I wouldn't know.
Wow.
I was up at 3:30.
I was up. Joe was snoring. Sorry, honey. And I did one of those sly, kicks of his foot, and he wasn't having it. He was on call all weekend. I could tell he was wiped. So,
why didn't you go sleep with the squirrel?
It was a chipmunk. It wasn't a squirrel.
Oh, okay? Splitting hairs.
I can't believe that I footed.
You played footsie with a dead squirrel.
It was a chipmunk. And it was like this. And then when I edged it out,
he was trying to get away from you.
Oh, shut up. Then when I was trying to edge him out and he thwapped onto the ground, and I was like, that was no sock. And then I went up to tell Joe, and he's like, ew, I'm not getting it. I had to get it. I'm the one female on freaking Estrogen Island. And I had to, right? It's still gross. I got tongs and I put it in a bag.
Did you throw the tongs away?
No, I didn't throw the tongs away. I went,
Yeah, I was going to say, did you even wash the tongs?
That was truly one of the most and Joe is really a wuss when it comes to spiders. He really has a thing with spiders. So I have to be the spider. I can understand
the woman. Did I ever tell you the time I come home from working an overnight?
Is this a long story?
No. There's a dish over it and then books on top of it. It says spider under here.
As long as it's going to move it. It's going to move it out of the way.
Well, here's the kicker. When I went to move it, there was nothing under that.
And you just have to love how the hypocrisy, it's one thing if you can make fun of ridiculous rules. The masking is idiotic. Does anybody else out there feel the way I do? If we had just let people live their lives last year rather than shutting the entire economy down, rather than forcing people to stay home when they had no business staying home, if we had done what we needed to do last year, we'd be ostensibly where we are now, yes? I think there's an incentive to just letting people get this thing. If you obviously are immunocompromised, you're going through chemotherapy, you've got medical issues, I get it. But for everybody else, buzz off. I love that Jen Psaki finds a way to deny that she really has any knowledge. Well, I mean, he was walking out. We can know that he's really all about the masks. Did you see he had it in his hand? That's not the rule, Jen. The rule that you morons created is this arbitrary, you must wear it when walking into the restaurant. But when eating, feet away from other people, as though the big plexiglass thing is going to do something significant, you can take it off. It's so preposterous. It's one thing when hypocrisy is like that with the masks. It's another thing when the hypocrisy lands in our court system. How much have you guys heard about the Jussie Smollett case? How much have you guys gleaned from the mainstream media's rabid infatuation with Ghislaine Maxwell? Oh, that's right. We're going to beat freaking Kyle Rittenhouse to a pulp. We're going to lie about him. We're going to lie about the legality of him owning a gun. We're going to lie about why he was traveling. We're going to lie and say he crossed state lines with it. We're going to lie. But we're not going to tell you who a verifiable liar in Jussie Smollett, what's going on in his embarrassing case. Remember, the left is very quick to pile on any cause that's left-leaning, anything that smacks or even sniffs of racism, of impropriety, of somebody who's being discriminated against, usually by somebody else who's white and probably a Republican Trump supporter. We've got some very interesting news in our headlines today. We're going to do a little flashback to the top Democrats calling Jussie Smollett hate crime hoax a lynching. Oopsies. Shouldn't put your eggs in those nasty baskets. Where the rest of us were like, you're joking, right? Even the Black community wasn't fooled by that. They were like, what? We're going to talk about that. And then, as Chris Cuomo is desperately holding on to his perceived importance and grandeur, his ship is sinking in a big, bad way. What? Chris Cuomo hasn't been terribly honest about his involvement in his nasty brother's case regarding sexual abuse? What? Oh, yes, let's talk about this. Hey, leftists, don't go anywhere. I'm just getting started. We've got lots of hypocrisy to show you. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program. We're back right after this. I love how they wrote this. Picture yourself playing a round of golf on a meticulously manicured championship course in a peaceful country setting, enjoying an unhurried candlelit dinner. Wow, I really like this. Candlelit dinner with an appropriate wine, having a casual family meal on the garden patio overlooking the course, or kicking back on a lazy summer afternoon lounging with friends around the pool. That sounds really awesome.
I like sitting outside because you can only sit outside and have a cocktail afterwards, and you're watching other people miss the same putt you missed on hole 2.
We're talking about our new sponsor. Do we have a new sponsor jingle we can play or no? Oh, come on. We've got this. We might as well use it.
Let me make sure it's loud enough.
Okay. I'll stop talking. In 3, 2,
Wendy Bell welcomes a new sponsor.
Yay! We are very grateful to have Nemacolin Country Club joining the list of Wendy Bell Radio Network sponsors. We're delighted to have Nemacolin. Brock is a member of Nemacolin Country Club. I have been a joyful visitor of Nemacolin Country Club, and they have a very special deal going on. From now through the end of the holidays, they invite you to join, to become a member of their club for 50% off. That is a huge deal. I don't know if they've ever done anything this generous, this cost effective.
I told you, I wanted to quit and rejoin, but I wasn't allowed.
So it's just a beautiful place and wonderful people, kind, and the golf course truly is spectacular. The greens, I'm not so sure I've seen prettier greens in Pennsylvania. Nemacolin Country Club. Go online to nemacolin.org to request any membership information, or call Amy directly. Here's the number, 724-632-3300, extension 5, and tell her the Wendy Bell radio program sent you. You will get 50% off your new membership.
And you'll also get Brock hoarding in on your foursome.
That's true.
To play.
He's a darn good golfer. He's maddeningly effortless on the golf course.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You can't say that.
You are
very
good.
Because when they join
very
and I
good.
come in, I can't sandbag them.
Uh-huh. I am very not good.
Yes.
But hey, but do I have fun when I play? I don't take it too seriously. Wow, I'll remember that next time he begs me to come play.
Begs?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
That's right.
We're really stretching the meaning of words. I don't even...
After all.
Ladies, I'll send...
Fabulous.
Here's all you need to do is...
We'll see you there.
Yeah.
I'll play. We'll
buy
bring
your
Joe.
husband the Christmas gift that gives all year long to both of you. It gets him out of the house.
I will tell you.
It gets him to take you to dinner there.
I will tell you that belonging to a country club in an environment where you do not have warm weather all the time is a wonderful investment, particularly if you have kids. They get to grow up, learn how to play at the pool, make new friends. It's a safe place.
Well,
I love it.
And for someone on the stream says, how many people listening actually belong to a country club? That's the thing with this deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not your country club guy, to be honest with you. I'm just not. But it's affordable.
But you do love to golf.
But I do love to golf. Yeah. And it's right now, it's hard for me to play other courses. It really is, because I judge the other courses.
Nemacolin is special. I will just put it in.
And of all the people I've taken, everyone says the same thing.
All right. Where did I have? Wait a minute.
And the food's really good there too.
Where is my Chris Cuomo?
I wouldn't know what Longview's like.
Longview's very beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Wow.
We're very exclusive.
Well, you're right. I got invited and I had to go through the back door.
Do you want to know what's pathetic? I belong to a gun club that I have yet to go to, and I joined it in March. I went for the big cleanup day. We pulled weeds all morning. So excited. I have yet to go there one single time. That's embarrassing. Maybe that's what I'll do this weekend with Joe. We'll go to the gun club and we will fire off our guns.
Ammo's as expensive as heating your house.
Did you hear 187,000 background checks just on Black Friday?
No, Pat. Nemacolin, that's Nemacolin Woodlands. We're talking about the Nemacolin Country Club.
I need to get to the gun club. It's embarrassing. Sadly, my life
like
is
her golf game.
Well, it's true. Hey, man, every now and again I break 100, which I think is huge. Whatever. I do one thing right every single hole, and then everything else falls to crap. But no, I do one thing right. I don't take it too seriously. I enjoy it.
No, I mean, I enjoy it.
You can always tell he's getting whiny. When he's getting whiny, yeah, it's time for the commercial break to end. I'm with you. I know. See, I understand what you say.
Wow. Bill, you broke 100 once. I'll teach you how to golf, Bill.
Your backyard is your gun club. Kelly, I'm jealous. I'd be arrested if the backyard was my
Yours
gun
is
club.
too, just not legally.
That's right. I live in an intriguing environment.
All right. Here we go.
Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
You know, I find it very intriguing, this inverse relationship I seem to identify more and more around me. By the more educated someone is, the more likely they are to fall for the garbage going on in our country pushed by the left. Have you ever noticed that? That some of the smartest people in your life, perhaps educationally speaking, some of the smartest people you know, are not seeing the reality of what you're seeing in America today. This inverse relationship between intelligence, alleged intelligence, and this unwillingness to say, holy smokes, I got this so freaking wrong. We need to about face ASAP and save our country. Why is there such difficulty on the left with the mea culpa? Why is there such difficulty to say, you know what, I made a mistake. That was me. My bad. I apologize. Let's fix this and move forward because this isn't working. How much more can we struggle through before more people on the left have that moment? Or is it fundamentally impossible for people on the left to be rational, to have conversations, to sit down and say, okay, let's talk? You know, sort of like Fauci shoving it down your throat, saying he's all about science. He is above reproach. He is above questioning. He represents science, right? So you cannot discuss anything with him. But that is the exact opposite of what the whole scientific method is all about. If I'm not mistaken, science is about investigating. It's about testing things. It's about variables. It's about constants. It's about bringing in a variable in a constant situation and testing it and seeing what happens. It's about modifying your course of action or whatever it is you're examining based on an experiment. But what we have now is we don't have conversation. We don't have science. We don't have the luxury of having an experiment. We don't have the concept of negotiating crazy land out of our country because it's indefensible. You can't defend it. Listen to Jen Psaki stammer and yammer her way through a press conference. And then her catch-all is, look, let me be clear. Those are the catchphrases. Those are the stall lines. Those are the crutches of I'm about to lay a big fat one on you, and I'm not expecting you to question me. So don't even do it. A la Fauci, yes? I find it interesting as we've followed the Kyle Rittenhouse case for weeks and weeks and weeks. The ins and outs, the nuance, God forbid the left ever paid attention to the testimony, because the testimony would greatly conflict with the garbage that they put out there, knowingly, purposefully, because that's what the left does. It has a mission. It has the marching orders, clone trooper activated, boom, got to go for the target. If anything else gets in the way, like, I don't know, facts, they are just disregarded, lied about, conflated, or there's just denial. So for weeks, we talked about Kyle Rittenhouse. That poor young man was dragged through the mud. Brock sent me something yesterday that I was almost giddy over, but when we did a little digging into it, it was the suggestion that Kyle Rittenhouse and his attorneys had filed a tens of millions of dollars lawsuit against the ultimate hacks, Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg of The View. We've not been able to corroborate. However, I do believe these sorts of lawsuits are coming up, and they should.
They're definitely coming. How could they not? These people, even after he became free, they continued to do it.
100%. 100% correct. I thought we would flash back because Jussie Smollett's case, which was the most obnoxiously poorly run scam ever. Like, you couldn't be more moronic, even if you were Omicron scrambled, than Jussie Smollett and his concoction of garbage. That hours after the alleged, we're going to rough you up, throw bleach on you, and put a noose around your neck.
While wearing MAGA hats.
Of course. That Jussie Smollett would still have the noose around his neck when police showed up at his flat. Because, this is what we do. When somebody throws something around my neck for which I can be lynched, my first reaction isn't such vile repugnance and a flashback of a really dark era of American history and whipping that. No, I'm going to walk around in it because that sounds so natural. And it couldn't have been more ridiculous if my son Bobby had tried to come up with this. Trust me, Bobby is the one who started Bad Joke Friday. Okay? Do I need to tell you more?
Bobby's also the one that said the milk jumped out of the cart.
This is the extent of our fabrication. No, that wasn't me. It jumped out, Mom. Got it. I thought we should flash back. While it is intriguing that nobody is covering the Jussie Smollett case. Is that because the left jumped on the bandwagon of a sheer, obvious, complete fraud? And they did so in a hot second? And now, the walk back on that is kind of a little bitter. We were told we need to get in touch with our whiteness, our inner racist. That this is what goes on in America, don't you know? That black people are beaten up by MAGA hat wearing goons all the time, only to be outdone by Bubba Wallace looking at a noose, which was really a garage door pull. You might be dumber. Maybe, probably not. Let's flash back. Why is it so hard for people who are leftists to admit that they're just corrupt? That you go with a flow of emotion that almost never can be proven? That you're always on the wrong side of everything that goes on? Doesn't it stink? Does it make you angry? Because the rest of us are just tired of your vitriol for us and the sanctimony, trying to get us to admit our white privilege. Flashback. Top Democrats called Jussie Smollett hate crime hoax a lynching. These are the people who try to be arbiters of character, who try to tell you how to live your life, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people on high. The sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy. This is who we have. Many prominent Democrats have been silent as the trial of former Empire star Jussie Smollett begins. But of course, that was not always the case. The actor faces 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct stemming from charges that he made false statements to police about an alleged hate crime. By the way, we should also remember in our flashback that the George Soros bought and paid for prosecutor decided not to file charges originally on this. Let's not forget that. Wasn't her name Kimberly Fox? Piece of work. Smollett's story fell apart. He had claimed that shortly after leaving his Chicago apartment at 2 a.m. to get a snack, because that's what I always do, is I go look for Subway at 2 a.m. when I'm jonesing for something. 2 men yelled racist and homophobic slurs. Because, at 2 a.m., people know exactly who you are as a B-rate actor. In the dark. Okay. Poured bleach on him and then draped a noose around his neck. As I said, the story quickly fell apart following questioning from conservative media and reports that he was evasive with police investigators. Here's the problem with lying. You always get caught. Because it's so obvious, like watching Tony Fauci in front of the Senate hearing regarding gain-of-function research. You watch people's eyes. You hear their voices falter. You watch their hands shake as they know they've stepped in an excrement sandwich. The actor paid 2 men accused of perpetrating the hoax $3,500, which they claimed was for personal training. Wow, that's some pretty pricey training. Holy moly. However, police asserted that Smollett paged them to stage the attack. And before police unraveled the hoax, however, many leading Democrats praised Smollett and designated his alleged assault a lynching. Let us not forget also Robin Roberts rushing to this. Wow, sitting across from him saying, what was that like? I mean, I can't imagine. Now, her BS meter had to be going off well in advance. So here's a gay black man talking to a gay black woman who's trying to get this big scoop on this horrible lynching. They put a noose around my neck. They were wearing MAGA hats. Can you believe that?
You notice no one ever asked either at 2 a.m. why these guys were carrying bleach and a noose?
They knew he was going to go out and be hungry for Subway. Brock, stop asking stupid questions. Right? I mean, honest to God, even their stories are so half-baked and dim-witted, like the entire leftist movement.
This was a straight-to-DVD.
Oh, come on. That's a good point. There was no live premiere of this. It just was it was put on a DVD and put at the one Blockbuster that's still open, and it's somewhere in Oregon. That's all we know, okay? But I digress, because I think it's important to go back and review all of the people who were bandwagoners here. God forbid we should wait for anything to come out. If I can jump on something that's racial, what? And MAGA? Ooh, think Nicholas Sandman. Ooh, think Kyle Rittenhouse. Think anything related to Donald Trump, right? I've got it made. Now, I know that there are no facts that we can prove, but still, I can gain some traction here. Oh, wow, they're sinking fast. We're going to talk more about that in a minute because it's just too delicious. You need the flavor of their failure in your mouth for a while. And I'm going to serve it up for you in just a minute. If you pay for your own health insurance, or maybe you have a small staff and you'd like to make sure they're covered appropriately, it's really dizzying to sit down and figure out what kind of coverage do you get everybody? Is there a plan that can suit everyone, that's affordable to you, that won't completely crush them with outrageous copays or deductibles, or God forbid a premium that's completely untenable? And what if everybody needs different kind of coverage? How do you do that? Well, you need an expert. And the expert that we love on this program and we stand behind is named Tom Yakupin. He operates in so many different states. I guarantee you, if you call him, he will be able to help you. And he tells me he can save you, usually at a minimum, 25 to 50% off of your premiums, copays, and deductibles. If that's not worth it to pick up the phone and call 724-230-4500, I don't know what is. Also, you can check out Tom. You can request a free quote or an online consultation by going to newerahealthplans.com. Tom Yakupin, newerahealthplans.com. All right, when we come back, I think we should flashback to see all the bandwagoners who were so quick to jump on Jussie Smollett's farcical allegations and the similarities between who these people are from the past and what they've jumped on the bandwagon of today. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Ireland Contracting, you guys, friends of ours, we love Ireland Contracting. And I want to thank Gary and Diane for what they do in southwestern Pennsylvania and also eastern Ohio. They are your home remodeling experts, exterior of your home. Putting on a new roof is an expensive endeavor. And when the time finally comes where you realize that you need one, you want to make sure that the company that you're dealing with, one, is reputable, two, has good quality work, has great craftsmen, and three, has a price that you can afford and that they stand behind. And that's Ireland Contracting. If you need new roofing, siding, windows, if you need soffit and fascia, if you'd like to put in new skylights in your house, get in touch with Gary and Diane. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Go to IrelandContracting.com. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Angie's List, Guild Quality, and we here at Wendy Bell Radio Network. Ireland Contracting.
You know this movie went straight to DVD.
Oh, it's a great analogy.
And like the, you know how when you used to shop at Best Buy, they'd have those big bins of all those movies for like $1.
Oh yeah, buy 3 for $5. You're like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah.
And then it turned into that thing to stop the table from wobbling when you stick something. Oh, that fits.
That's right. I used to use packets of Sweet and Low, but that's more valuable than this DVD.
Jussie Smollett's DVD.
Yeah, than the Empire series and Jussie Smollett's Lying Ways.
Oh man,
I can't.
Like I said,
I can't understand it.
Whoever went to go
defend this for me.
The Keystone Cops could have figured that one out.
Come on.
They had bleach and a noose at 2
You know, when I walk around and I hate people, it's what I'm going to do.
Right. I keep one in the trunk of my car just in case.
You never know when you're just driving down the road if there's somebody you can throw some bleach on, you know? It's usually how I feel about people, right? Right? And they called him the F word, meaning, gay.
Right.
And that's because, that's what so many of us say often. Right? I mean, how many people really care about somebody else's sexual orientation? Just be happy. That's all I wish for you. Just be happy.
But
don't care.
And when they were thinking this out, he's been in the industry for how long? He couldn't have come up with a better script than that.
You're an actor.
Right?
Failure.
Who wrote that for you?
And then
so low budget.
And then the two brothers. Well, we're gonna walk into a place that's got
who are
cameras.
Than him.
We're cameras all over the place, and we're gonna buy rope, right? Nothing to see here. Yeah, we're gonna go out and ride horses.
Here we go.
It's true. You would think that somebody with theatrical training, someone who's a thespian, if you will, not a lesbian, a thespian, there is a difference, would have a better storyline than this half-baked, dim-witted, moronic tale that if somebody is wearing a MAGA hat, they clearly hate you because you're black and you're gay. Said no one ever. I want to know how many hate crimes with true MAGA people have ever happened. I guarantee you, if we were to do a side-by-side, the fictitious BS ones grossly outnumber what actually happened. Because most people I know who wear MAGA stuff don't care about you. They're not interested in you. They want you to go do your life, stay away from them. They don't care. They're busy working and paying their taxes, okay? They're not trying to hunt you down at 2 a.m, and they don't walk around with vials of bleach in their pockets. What do you want to do, Phil? Well, I think we should go find somebody who's gay and black and put a noose around their neck and throw some bleach on them. I think that's a great idea. Let's go. It's snowing. It's 10 degrees. Let's hit it.
You think he could afford a writer?
I mean, could you not do anything that wasn't so flippin' obvious? And yet these fools on the left, you guys are boobs. I love this. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, never let a hate crime go to waste, used the attempted modern-day lynching to push a federal anti-lynching statute, which, by the way, was the only thing Kamala Harris ever tried to do, is she tried to pass an anti-lynch. We should have anti-lynching laws. Nobody should be lynched. Do we really believe that we need to put that into law? Isn't that just a basic modicum of human decency? I'm not going to try to hang you. Okay. Thank you. The vicious attack on actor Jussie Smollett was an attempted modern-day lynching. I'm glad he's safe. This is Cory Booker. To those in Congress who don't feel the urgency to pass our anti-lynching bill designating lynching as a federal hate crime, I urge you to pay attention, he wrote on Twitter. Also describing the hoax as an attempted modern-day lynching. Who else would want to pile on? Well, then California Senator Kamala Harris, declaring that, quote, no one should have to fear for their life because of their sexuality or the color of their skin. You're right. I agree with you. And he wasn't one of them. At Jussie Smollett is one of the kindest, most gentle human beings I know. I'm praying for his quick recovery. This one is an attempted modern-day lynching. No one should have to fear for their life because of the sexual. Do you really think that Kamala Harris knows Jussie Smollett? Really? Kindest. Except when he lies about lynching. After Smollett's story unraveled, Harris claimed that, quote, part of the tragedy of this situation is that it detracts from an increase in reported hate crimes and, quote, has been seized by some who would like to dismiss and downplay the very real problems that we must address. None of which happened that night in Chicago. Wacko. Like most of you, she tweeted, I've seen the reports about Jussie Smollett, and I'm sad, frustrated, and disappointed. Then candidate Joe Biden piled on, though, homophobia and racism have no place on our streets or in our hearts. Oh, what a leader. He tweeted, what happened today to Jussie Smollett must never be tolerated in this country. We must stand up and demand that we no longer give this hate safe harbor, that homophobia and racism have no place on our streets or in our hearts. We're with you, Jussie. This is the same man who said, if you're black and you ain't black. How do you defend this, leftists? How do you defend any of these morons? And these people are your government, right? But you're supposed to totally believe what they tell you about this virus. No, we wouldn't ever lie to you about that. No, the science tells us that you must get this vaccine. It's what's safe. We're about safety. I mean, seriously, doesn't it feel kind of guilty and evil to laugh? But it's so good and delicious and fabulous because they're awful. I got off track too, and I didn't tell you about Chris Cuomo. Oh, I can't wait. His story is coming up next on the Wendy Bell radio program. I didn't tell you guys a couple of these things. Joe Biden said, we are with you, Jussie. Oh, he's so down with it. Right. And then AOC, she said this. She declared the alleged attack, quote, racist and homophobic. Does anybody want to wait for the freaking bodies to cool, right, proverbially, before we jump to conclusions? Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderous white supremacist. Oh, is that so? Huh. They do get everything right, don't they? A racist and homophobic, she tweeted. echoed by Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi in a since deleted tweet. There is no such thing as racially charged. The attack was not possibly homophobic. It was a racist and homophobic attack. If you don't like what's going on in our country, then work to change it. This is Pelosi. Why'd she delete it, I wonder? It is no one's job to water down or sugarcoat the rise of hate crimes. Does it make you wonder? Don't you remember Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate? Did that even happen? For like a hot second in our neighborhood, somebody had Stop AAPI Hate. Do you believe this? Are people really going out looking for Asian people to hit and hurt? Really? Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib blamed, quote, dangerous lies spewing from the right wing for killing and hurting our people. Rashida Tlaib is neither black, male, nor gay. Who's her people? Really? When one of the most famous black and gay men in America is not safe. I had never heard of Jussie Smollett, nor had I ever heard of Empire. So she's clearly smoking something that our friend John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana, calls magic lettuce. Because one of the most famous black and gay men in America, when one of the most famous black men and gay men in America is not safe, the message is clearer than it has ever been. The dangerous lies spewing from the right wing is killing and hurting people. Thinking of you at Jussie Smollett and my LGBTQ neighbors.
I always thought every crime was a hate crime. Like, I've never gone up
Nobody
to my friend.
loves you and hurts you. I'm doing this because I love you. Right?
I mean, that happens. It's called, like, domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm. Cuomo is just... The Cuomo brothers. And, the little toad is turning on him. Brian Stelter.
Oh,
yes.
That's Mr. Potato Head.
Well, I don't like that. I think that's silly.
Oh, Toad is better.
He is. He looks like a toad.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No, whatever. I'm not big into that, but he's husky. He's a toad. Yeah, him saying that, this is going to be a hard one for his buddy Chris to get out of. Watch and see what CNN does. Because remember, this is the news organization that's supposed to be down with Believe All Women.
He makes $6 million a year.
Chris Cuomo.
I can't even imagine.
So do I.
I'll take one of his paychecks. Give me one. Just one. I'm
you
not
want
a
month.
guy.
Just give me a month.
Just give me. That's what I said. Just give me one of his paychecks. I'll take his two. You know what? I'm not a greedy guy.
How about a week?
I'll take a week's pay. I'll take the rest of the 51 weeks
That's right.
off.
Right. I'll even pay taxes on it. I'll do the right thing.
I won't be happy about it.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, a month's worth of checks.
Yeah.
Makes you a 1%er.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? Honestly,
not a 1%er, but you're above that. No taxes for the middle class.
I don't know how they could possibly make ends meet. I think it would be complicated with that. Crazy.
How much sales you would have to do?
Sherry says Brian Stelter would turn on his own mother if the stakes were right. I agree. They're just so gross. And you know what? We can giggle about it because it's comical to watch them go down with the ship, but they are so dangerous.
This is what happens when you buy into something
so dangerous
that you don't want to admit you're wrong.
Stop. You know what? And Robin Roberts should have come out right away. I don't think she did. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. If she came out and was like, holy snap, that is so disappointing and it's so detrimental to true causes, to true hate.
Right.
You know, I was played.
I think the left just needs an intervention. That's ultimately what they need. They need a bunch of people sitting around going, okay, we're telling you because we care. You're stupid.
Yes.
You know, like you're falling for all this stuff. And it's like the media is giving them their fix.
Yes.
You hate Donald Trump. Here's your fix today.
Yes. Facts. I agree.
The left needs an intervention.
Well, isn't that an understatement?
What's that?
That the left needs an intervention.
Oh. I seriously think I could write a better movie than Jussie Smollett.
It was so bad.
All right,
it was so bad.
Here we go.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. We do have lots more sound to get to as we're basically calling out the BS of the left and encouraging anyone out there who's fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker, to actually explain to us, why are you still down with such outright abject fraud? I have Fauci. I have Biden. I have more to play for you, but I do want to quickly get through this. The left is supposed to be the party, at least they've put their flag in the sand here during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, with believe all women. Believe all women. To which I had responded multiple years ago. That is a very dangerous thing, a very dangerous blanket statement to say, I believe all women who allege they are victims of X, Y, or Z. That makes every single man out there guilty until proven innocent, without even an effort to prove innocent. But when the person who's accused is deeply entrenched in the leftist movement, now you're in a pickle. And now your lack of morality comes floating to the surface. So Andrew Cuomo ultimately run out as governor of New York. He was an ineffective governor. I don't think that's deniable. He was about enriching himself with a $5.2 million book deal during the throes of coronavirus. And the attorney general there, Letitia James, who desires to be the next governor, found that he lied. I know, shocking. That he lied about how many people in nursing homes died under his purview from COVID. And that he didn't just request or ask as a favor, hey, buddy, old pal, friends who are working with me in the governor's office. He demanded his staff help write his book on his leadership, which is just such a disgraceful, despicable, nasty, Fauci-ish thing to do. Beyond that, what is it, 9, 10, 11 women came forward and said, you know what, this cat is a creep-ola. This is what he did to me. This is what he said to me. This is how he cornered me. This is how he touched me. This is not okay. And alas, the left was like, wait, what? I do not hear you. La, 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 la. Because Cuomo represented a pillar of American leftism. So his brother, Chris Cuomo, is as much of a hack as his older brother, Andrew. Tried to step back from it. I'm not going to talk about this case. And CNN is trying to run interference for him as Jen Psaki tries to run interference for the maskless Bidens, who are all about telling you what to do, but not that good at doing it themselves. CNBC, politics page. CNN host Chris Cuomo used his media sources to find out info on brother Andrew's accusers, records show. I told you yesterday that if Arizona State University doesn't real fast clamp down on their socialist students, calling for Kyle Rittenhouse, the murderous person that he is, they said, to be blackballed from campus, if ASU doesn't move in real fast and stop that noise, they are going to be in a world of legal hurt. If CNN doesn't stop this now and get rid of this hack, Chris Cuomo, who makes, Brock told me, $6 million a year to be a sanctimonious clown on CNN, who, in keeping with other CNN clowns, has done a great job dragging the network's ratings into the basement. I don't understand. Like, why we have only 20% of the viewers we once had? If CNN doesn't move on this, good night, sweetheart. CNN host Chris Cuomo used his sources in the media world to seek information on women who accused his brother Andrew Cuomo, then the governor of New York, of sexual harassment, according to documents released Monday by the New York Attorney General's office. Now, granted, Letitia James is drooling over the governor's office, wants to get there herself. But if these are facts, watch out. While Chris Cuomo had previously acknowledged advising his brother and his team on the response to the scandals, the records show that his role in helping the then governor was much larger and more intimate than previously known. Chris Cuomo was actively in touch with Melissa DeRosa. We've spoken ad nauseum about this piece of work, who was then Governor Cuomo's top aide, about incoming media reports that detailed alleged sexual harassment by Andrew Cuomo, according to exhibits from the Attorney General's probe and a transcript of his interview with the state's investigators. Chris Cuomo also lobbied to help the governor's office as it sought to weather the storm of accusations, and he dictated statements for the then governor to use. Chris Cuomo is supposed to be part of fair and balanced. You know, that media empire that hopes to be beyond reproach, but is nothing but diabolical and corrupt. Please let me help with the prep, Chris Cuomo said to DeRosa in one message in early March. Then 3 days later, after the New York Times reported about how Andrew Cuomo attempted to kiss a woman, Anna Rush, in an unwanted advance at a wedding, Chris Cuomo texted DeRosa, "I have a lead on the wedding girl." That's deranged. That's illegal. I'm pretty sure. CNN issued a comment hours after the publication of this article, again, on the politics page at CNBC, saying the news organization would be, quote, reviewing the documents. Quote, the thousands of pages of additional transcripts and exhibits that were released today by the New York Attorney General deserve a thorough review and consideration, CNN spokesman Matt Dornick said. We will be having conversations and seeking additional clarity about their significance as they relate to CNN over the next several days. It's kicking the can down the road, but also saying, oh no, we've stepped in it. We've bailed this dude out so many times. $6 million goes a long way on other salaries. Not to mention CNN could actually do the right thing and say, you know what, we're really not down with investigating alleged victims of sexual misconduct. This is conduct unbecoming one of our people, though they are the swamp of leftism, so I'm not holding my breath. Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat, resigned in August after State Attorney General Letitia James, who's now running for governor, issued her report. Blah, 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 blah. Chris Cuomo told investigators that he engaged with what he described as, quote unquote, sources regarding the various allegations. I want to underscore one more time. This is the party that demanded that we believed Christine Blasey Ford's bumbled recollection of something that happened nearly 40 years ago. She had no specifics. She had no dates. She had no addresses. She had no corroboration. And they tried to derail a fine jurist in Brett Kavanaugh. They unleashed the likes of lackey Alyssa Milano's crybaby, on us. For what? And you've got a dozen women who have the same story, and you have the brother using his media contacts to investigate details on the accusers. Can you think of anything more friggin' despicable? Why is it okay, leftists? I could go on and on telling you about Chris Cuomo's sordid investigations. And what do you think he promised, said sources, who helped him do the dirty work to try to bail out his creepy brother? Maybe a little quid pro Joe? You do this for me, and when the shizzle hits the fan for you, I'll make sure we squelch it here at the network. Indefensible. Inexcusable. Watch CNN carefully. Their reaction to this will tell you everything you need to know about the media. So I am going to pivot. I want to change gears. I'd like to take my eyes away from New York and go south of there to the beautiful state of Florida, where people have breathed freely, mask-free, no mandates, no edicts, no shutdowns, no mandatory anything, no vaccines pushed on people, none of it. In the state of Florida, under Governor Ron DeSantis, you are free to choose how you live your life. You are not threatened. Your boss is not allowed to give you an edict. Your school is not allowed to run roughshod, be rogue. You decide. It is a far different world than almost every single blue state in America right now. And for some reason, despite the mask mandates that New York has now just instituted again by their crazed new governor, who's worried, as Joe Biden calls, about Omicron variant, wow, decides to wield her magic wand that she's clearly borrowed from Tom Wolfe, and has declared a state of an emergency there. Oh, you know what? We don't have any cases, but we're going to do this just in case. I think it makes sense. We're going to shut everything down. We're going to ruin business for people who are scraping by. And we're going to encourage more New Yorkers to sit on their couch, get high, and collect money from checks that we're telling everybody are free. So why is it, if you've got closures, mandates, edicts, mask, yes, in the blue states, and in Florida, which is a decided red state that is open for business, that you choose how you live, where there are no mandates, where masks don't really exist, unless they make you feel more comfortable? Why is it that Ron DeSantis is absolutely kicking everybody else's butt? God, they hate that. Man, it must make them angry. I can tell you that Florida is in the basement when it comes to COVID deaths and new COVID cases, and has been since the beginning of October. And that these blue states, Pennsylvania, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, are sucking it. But I can also just show you with the BS board. And it's so much more delicious when we do that. Oh yes, there's been some research. Because unlike Dr. Fauci, we do believe in facts. And we will present them for you here momentarily. Dr. Richard Rafferty of the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh is grateful for those of you who listen to this program and who pick up the phone and call him, who trust him with something that is life-changing. And when a disc in your back or your neck is bulging, has degenerated, has herniated, and you get tingling down your fingers, and you can't get comfortable, and you are in pain, and your life joy is hampered, and you pick up the phone and you call Doc Rafferty and you say, I got to come. I got to see you. I got to know if you can fix me. He's so grateful for that trust, because he can fix you. Almost certainly. It's called intradisc neutrosis. It's non-surgical. It's 98% successful. And people come in from all over America to meet with him and his expert team at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. 412-906-9600. Get in touch with them. 412-906-9600. He'll talk to you no matter where you live. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. He's a great guy. All right, when we come back, Florida is absolutely winning. They are destroying everybody else when it comes to success. Common sense, conservative success. and the left can't stand it. And I've got the BS board ready to roll out the data next on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
Acting your quality of life.
All right, in the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to do 10:30 and 11. I get fussy and I get on a roll and I've got to go for it. So you understand.
I like the 11.
11 is solid. You did a great job pulling Ted Cruz. He's, you know what? The left doesn't have national debate champions on their team.
Well,
we do.
Because they're not allowed to, and it's part of what they do. They're not allowed to stray from the bullet points.
Yes.
That's why all you hear is bullet points. It's
correct.
What we sit here and say that at least they got their shizzle together when it comes to staying on point. They lack in originality that can be funny. I mean, you never hear anyone on the left joke. Like, it's not funny or creative. It's stagnant. It's the same playbook for 50 years. I got to figure out what I'm going to do after work.
Why?
I don't know.
I know what I'm going to do.
Rake leaves?
No. Oh, the snow's all melted. It's amazing what sun does.
Drink a beer?
No. No.
Is that a stretch?
At 12? Yes, at 12 it's a stretch.
What if I said you want to go have a beer after work? Lunch. Would you have a beer with lunch? Even though it's 12. Exactly. I've seen you drink that early, please.
I like beer. I think there's nothing wrong with liking good beer.
No, please tell us what you're doing after work.
I'm going home and cleaning toilets.
You want to do mine too?
No. I clean them every day. They're gross.
You like that sign I sent you by hitting the post.
Yeah. What'd you say? Peeing on the seat is like
hitting a post in an open net.
On an empty net or whatever, yes.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back, everybody. It is time, I do believe, for us to get to some data. You want some facts, you want some science that you can depend on. Well, you've turned to the right place, the Wendy Bell Radio program. Let's roll.
Time to cut the crap, because Wendy's breaking out the Ireland Contracting BS board.
So as we are breathlessly watching the media try to froth up fury and fear and, oh my God, over Omicron, that's Joe Biden's pronunciation, not mine. I've got that coming up. Don't worry about it. I think it's prudent for us to see that the horse that they continue to beat, I wonder how many people who are testing positive in these cold winter states, those that are not Florida, how many of these cases are actual just regular old run-of-the-mill flu? Because you remember, nothing killed flu quite like COVID. We didn't have any flu at all in 2020. It disappeared. It was magic, right? I'm interested in these numbers. Florida is absolutely destroying the rest of the country. It's got a gall those who are all about controlling how you act, what you do, what you're quote unquote allowed to decide for yourself. It must gall them to see somebody as in smart and common sense Ron DeSantis destroying them with success. But let's look. Florida is a population of 21.4 million people. I looked at two statistics and compared Florida with 5 states, a smattering of Republican and Democrat, that are not doing quite as well, but have very strict COVID guidelines still. 21.4 million people between the beginning of October and 28th day of November. In that kind of 2-month span there, 2,932 new COVID deaths were reported in Florida. 577 was the 7-day new case average. In 7 days, roughly the average there, 577 people a day in Florida were testing positive for COVID. That's not bad for 21.7 million people. Holy moly, successful. No masks, no mandates. Wow, it's called freedom. Juxtapose that with a population that's about 9 million fewer people in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the land before time, 12.8 million people. That same period of time, those 2 months, 3,788 new COVID deaths and a 7-day new case average of 5,676. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a 983% higher number than in open, free, maskless, mandated free Florida. Something weird is going on here. Well, let's go a little bit further and see if there's a trend. Illinois, similar size to Pennsylvania, 12.6 million people. They had 1,627 deaths in that 2-month period. Lower, about half Pennsylvania's. However, their 7-day new case average, 4,416, a 765% higher number than open mandate mask-free Florida. Ohio, 11.6 million people, 4,210 new COVID deaths. Again, take that up here, 2,900 in Florida, with a population that's almost twice as many. Vastly more COVID deaths in Ohio. Look at this number of the 7-day new COVID case average, 4,982, 863% higher than Florida. New Jersey, 8.9 million people, 896 new COVID deaths, 2,178 is the 7-day average of new cases. 377%. Let's look at New York. New York is completely restrictive. You can do nothing on your own in New York. Masks inside your house. You want to kiss your mother? Not so fast there, sissy. Let's see what they're doing, how it's working for them. 19.9 million people, very close to Florida's 21 million. Except their 1,994 new COVID deaths. How about 5,774 7-day new case average? 1,000% higher than Florida. 1,000%. Since the beginning of October, Florida has been in the basement when it comes to new COVID cases and deaths. Why? What are they doing? What is the magical elixir going on in Florida? I don't know. You do you. You decide what makes you happy. If you want the vaccine, get the vaccine. If you want to wear a mask because it makes you feel better, wear a mask. Could it be that what we're really seeing all across America ain't COVID, it's typical flu? And by the way, flu kills people? Well, we wouldn't want to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. Shh. It goes against the narrative that mandates you put that special elixir into your body and you like it. When we come back, a little Ted Cruz action. You're going to love him as he dismantles Dr. Doom. You'll hear it here on the Wendy Bell Radio program next.
Did you just get fake news?
Why?
You told me we're doing 10:30 at 11, 11 at 11:30.
I'm a woman.
Now, if I say that...
I changed my mind. There's flow going on. I have flow. I'm always thinking about flow. What? It's true.
Okay.
Don't be a hater, Brock.
Who's hating? Am I hating?
You're looking like
I'm not hating.
I'm just saying. Let's see. Let us see. Ooh, I still have some delicious nuggets to dig my teeth into. Let's make sure we get through them all. How about that? It is kind of fun. It is so much fun to share all this with you guys. Do you have fun? Do you find this enjoyable, even though I can get cranky? I don't think it's that cranky.
No, I totally enjoy cutting up the sound and finding the
little nuggets.
Brock is not fussy. Brock likes to play by the rules, right? This is the liberal coming out in Wendy, where we write the rules.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We talk all morning about this, but then she moves the goalpost.
I don't move the goalpost.
You just moved it from one break to the other.
No. I got a hankering for a different strategy. I believe that a successful person likes to, bob and weave. I'm going to punt, whatever.
I do need a Snickers. I need a water.
Right? Do you want me to go get you one?
Are you going to get one?
No.
Well, then you don't need to go get me one. Brock is very used to ad-libbing. 2 years with her. But it's like that whole thing when you spend hours coming up with this. And see, you guys can't see it on my computer over here. All the sound is lined up in the order we go. So now I have to jump around. So I'm just trying to get behind the scenes.
Whatever.
I didn't say it was bad or good. I just was giving.
You just wanted to complain.
No.
Whatevs.
Wow. I know where I'm going now after work. Going to your house and pee all over the seats.
Well, you'd fit right in. There's nothing grosser than sitting down on a toilet seat that somebody has placed all over. You wouldn't know.
I clean mine every day. At least once a day, I spray them down.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those places. That in the kitchen. It's one of those places. Everywhere else in the house, there's dog food. Dog food, but dog hair. But, I can only vacuum the carpet so many times.
Doesn't it make it sound like you really want to go to his house too?
I almost got a Roomba yesterday. They were on sale.
How much was it? They're normally like $600.
It was like $275.
And you didn't buy it? You boob. Why? My parents, for Christmas 2 years ago, they bought us one called Neato.
Oh, so you didn't buy one?
No, I did not. I would not have spent $800 on something.
I couldn't afford it because I just bought you a shirt.
That was less than $20 apparently, which you just told me in the commercial break. Like about $15. Oh.
That was before the show. Don't give fake news.
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, you're like,
those things
why did
change
you buy
your
me
life.
a shirt?
Plus, when it's done and you go and you dump it out, it's so nasty and fabulous.
It's like
your cleaner.
My carpet cleaner.
I need to do that. But see, I've had workers in the house, and so it doesn't make sense for me to really get too terribly clean.
What I need to do is totally clean and then bring in the machine to spray the Bactronics.
I need to find somebody who's big into wholesale carpet. I need to find somebody who can carpet my basement.
I have a guy.
You have a guy?
I think I know a guy that does.
You know a guy? I'll take that guy. Who's the guy? Is he my kind of guy?
He's Andy's guy.
Oh, then I like him already. I like Andy.
Well, then call Andy.
Why would I call Andy when I can have you do it? I'm sorry. I just said what I actually felt.
Yeah, right. That was your out loud voice.
I'm sorry. That secret thing isn't really working.
What's great is so I call Andy and say, hey, I need your carpet guy. And he says, well, how much you need? And I got a text you saying, what are you looking for? And it gets back and forth. It's like, why am I doing this?
Michael says he likes the show. He said, great show today. 1 more hour.
I didn't get a text.
He doesn't like you.
Wow.
Why would he text you? Ooh, there's a heart on fire. Michael, I'm sending you a heart on fire. Don't text and drive.
Maybe he pulled over.
I know he didn't.
You don't know that.
When you have a 10-hour drive through West Virginia, into North Carolina, into South Carolina, you pull over as infrequently as possible.
When nature calls, it calls.
And which is tragic because I made pork chops last night.
Oh no!
I know that could be a problem.
You might as well give him. Did you put sauerkraut on them?
No, but that sounds good. I would eat that in a hot second.
Do you ever have them with applesauce?
Yes, of course. Duh. Wow, pork chops and applesauce. That's so revolutionary.
I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner.
Culinary expert.
Why don't you take me to Stinky's for dinner?
No, we're going to have our holiday party there.
What?
We're going to have our holiday party. I got to call Val after this and reserve the upstairs room for the holiday party.
Well, maybe we should go and make a menu.
Who says that you have a say in any of this? I mean, like, perhaps you and I are confused.
You're right. What the hell was I thinking?
Not much.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Using facts to take on the woke politicians, triggered leftists, and the corporate media.
You just got to try harder not to suck.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, you're listening to the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back, everybody. Hello, America. Good Tuesday to you. This is the third busy broadcast hour of the Wendy Bell radio program. We hope you enjoy our common sense, conservative approach to reality and our relentless pursuit to take down everything that the left is doing. And in my crosshairs, always, is the ever lying and scheming Dr. Fauci. I find him reprehensible. I still question every single day of my life why this man is the highest paid federal bureaucrat we have, what actually he does, what he's done that has benefited us. And the more he wraps himself in science, like Nancy Pelosi enjoys wrapping herself in the Constitution as she tears up the State of the Union. Yes, the more we see the sham that is the American left, which is, alas, today's complete theme. I have some sound for you. Ted Cruz, I believe, is a relentless leader. I believe that it is a very difficult thing for the left to counter a national debate champion in Ted Cruz. He is a fine orator. He is deeply thoughtful and ever prepared. And I'm grateful for what he does to bring to light the reality of the farcical plans of the left. So I've got 5 audio sound bites that Brock furiously, in the darkness of the pre-dawn hours, managed to put together for us today.
Actually, I did it.
You're ruining this.
It's 5 in the evening.
Okay, well, you're ruining my story. I thought it was this morning. Okay. Anyway, slacker.
Actually, it was this morning.
Oh my goodness gracious! Hi, flip flopper. He's a Democrat. Let's do Ted Cruz number 1, because I do believe in exactly what Ted Cruz is talking about here. Cut number 1 and go.
You know, Dr. Fauci, I think, is the most dangerous bureaucrat in the history of the country. You know, he talked a moment ago, you just played, about hurting science. I don't think anyone has hurt science, has hurt the credibility of the CDC, has hurt the credibility of doctors more than Dr. Fauci, because throughout this pandemic, he's been dishonest, he's been political, he's been partisan, and the American people know it.
let's make this abundantly clear. Health and matters of wellness in the United States of America do not know Democrat or Republican, or should not. But that is not how this has been played. And that has been played by Dr. Doom himself. Ted Cruz is absolutely right. So I want to flash back to a clip we played for you yesterday of Dr. Doom with Margaret Brennan, CBS, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And as he exalts himself on high, puts himself on the pedestal of untouchability, don't you dare impugn his credibility. Fauci 5 from yesterday, which will bleed very well into what Ted Cruz said last night on Hannity. Go.
But if they get up and really aim their bullets at Tony Fauci, well, people could recognize there's a person there, so it's easy to criticize. But they're really criticizing science, because I represent science. That's dangerous. To me, that's more dangerous than the slings and the arrows that get thrown at me. And if you damage science, you are doing something very detrimental to society.
Right. Well, item number 1 there is using the third person. He's a megalomaniac. The guy loves himself. He loves his power. He's completely drunk. He's taken way too many hits from the chalice of I love me. And Cruz calls him out on it. Cut number 2.
This weekend, he did this long interview where he gave the answer. He said, I represent science. I am science. I got to admit, Sean, I was laughing. It's like Louis XIV, the Sun King in France, saying, L'État c'est moi. I am the state. It is this delusion of grandeur that you cannot criticize him. And
boom. Boom, boom, boom. Very succinctly said, 100% correct. This isn't about science. It's not about a virus. It's not about a virus whose individual components were patented 73 times before the virus was even on planet Earth. Think about that. Think about that. Cruz goes on to say how Fauci disregards, calls for him to be prosecuted, to be investigated for lying, which is a felony, lying to Congress, and how he flippantly laughs it off because he believes he is the most important person on the planet. Cut number 3.
In the course of that interview, he was asked about, I asked the Attorney General Merrick Garland if he's going to investigate and prosecute Dr. Fauci for lying to Congress. And Margaret Brennan asked him about that. And what did Fauci do? He didn't discuss any of the substance. Instead, he just attacked and engaged in ad hominem attacks. He basically did the Beavis and Butthead defense. He just screamed liars at everything.
And this is a very interesting caveat to this theme right now in this segment. We went online to try to find the sound of Fauci addressing Rand Paul, the senator from Kentucky, who asked him repeatedly about gain of function, who called him out on gain of function, called him to his face a liar. You cannot find this audio soundbite, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, they have scrubbed it from the internet. Why is that? However, I have it because I played it for you because you needed to hear it. This was Fauci back then lying. Go.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function.
So
let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. Okay, you get
NIH,
one person.
Let's read from the NIH
Chair, can I
definition of
answer
gain
the
of
question?
function. This is your definition that you guys wrote. It says that scientific research that increases the transmissibility among mammals is gain of function. They took animal viruses that only occur in animals, and they increased their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
Boom. That your fingerprints are all over. Did you hear his voice waver? His hands are shaking. People who lie get caught, ladies and gentlemen. And Cruz, whoa. Cut number 4 completely hones in on it and goes for the jugular.
But, you know, facts are stubborn things, Sean. And so here are the simple facts that Fauci needs to explain and that the Department of Justice should investigate. So on May 11th, Fauci testified before a Senate committee that, quote, the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That's a clear, categorical statement. But then on October 20th, the NIH wrote that they funded an experiment at the Wuhan lab testing, quote, if spike proteins from naturally occurring bat coronaviruses circulating in China were capable of binding to the human ACE2 receptor in a mouse model. That is gain-of-function research. That is taking an existing virus and modifying it to make it more dangerous to humans.
What is the basic purpose of all of this, of COVID, of this sordid plan that was hatched decades ago, that has the fingerprints of Peter Daszak from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Ralph Barrick, I should say, Peter Daszak, the CEO, creep from EcoHealth Alliance, that has Bill and Melinda Gates' fingers all over it to make us addicted to medicine, ladies and gentlemen. There is no money in you being well. If you're sick, if you're addicted to the medicine, there is a never-ending stream of money, and they make it. And they can control what goes into your bloodstream. And they can control the population of planet Earth. Don't doubt me. Cruise number 5. This is chilling, but something we have echoed on this program as well. Go.
And listen, at the end of the day, 18 U.S.C. Section 1001 makes it a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison for lying to Congress. The statements from Dr. Fauci and the NIH are directly contradictory. And I got to say, I think Margaret Brennan is a talented journalist, but she dropped the ball in not following up, letting him just respond with insults instead of asking him the simple question. You stated that we don't fund gain-of-function research. The NIH stated we do fund gain-of-function research. They can't both be true. And if you lied to Congress, it's a felony. She didn't press him on that. And the reason this matters is there is a lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest that the U.S. government participated in funding research modifying coronaviruses that could well have led to COVID-19. And if that's true, that is stunning and indefensible. We know the Chinese government has enormous culpability, but there's a real possibility the American government under Dr. Fauci does as well. And that's what he doesn't want to address.
And I dare submit to you, my friends, and I'm working on this. I'm digging into the data, and I hope to be able to present it to you soon. Gain of function and anything that happened at the Wuhan Institute of Virology is a smokescreen. It is a smokescreen. It is a distraction because this has been planned well before Event 201, where Bill and Melinda Gates planned and paid for a pandemic preparation scenario, which happened months before the first case, quote unquote, ever came to the United States. If we really want to find out what happened, we turn the pages of the calendar back to the 1990s. This has been planned. It has been in the machinations, in the works for decades. That is the information I hope to provide for you here soon so that you can do your own research and be less inclined to follow the smokescreens, which they blow up on purpose to keep you off track. I want to thank our friends, the Krupps, who own the battlegrounds here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Perhaps now, as a mom, as a mom of 5 boys, finding a cool place that's not Chuck E. Cheese to have a great birthday party can be difficult. I found it. It's called the Battlegrounds. It is the coolest 3-floor old car dealership, not far from Pittsburgh, in Munhall, Pennsylvania. Inside these 3 stories is some of the coolest activity going on. Nerf gun, airsoft, bow tag, rivals, run around like a crazy person shooting at people. It is so much fun. It is so coolly decorated. It is safe. It is edgy. It is unlike any place you've ever been. Great for a party, great for a holiday retreat, a corporate event, whatever you're doing to run around and have a blast, they do it at the Battlegrounds. And show me your hobbies. They've added this hobby in this RC enthusiast section of the Battlegrounds. I'm talking RC cars, trucks, boats, crawlers. Blow your mind. It is so cool. If you don't live in the area, check out their website, thebattlegroundspa.com. Look at the videos. Unreal. Call and make your appointment now. Their holiday hours are extended now. 412-530-2192. 412-530-2192. Don't just play the game. Be the game at thebattlegroundspa.com. When we come back, how is it possible that Big Pharma received emergency use approval for a quote-unquote new vaccine for the Omicron variant that wasn't even discovered? How is it possible that a vaccine was approved before we knew about it? Don't tell me they're not corrupt. I'll talk to you through that coming up on the Wendy Bell Radio program.
So what are we putting at 11:30? 10:30?
Yes, please. You finally understand my logic.
It's not logic. Well, actually, it was multiple guests because there's only 11:30 and 10:30 available.
Well, don't let anybody tell you that you're not a Cracker Jack.
I went online looking for Rocky 4 for you.
Did you now?
Yeah. I wish you could. This is what they need to change, like where I could buy it digitally and send it to you.
Right. So there's like a code or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there is, or I haven't figured it out yet.
I think you should spend more of your money on me. I think it's a great idea.
Well, let's be honest.
It's a good
Rocky
business.
4's old enough that it's like $4.99.
It's a good business strategy.
Wow.
No?
Is it?
Is it? I think so.
I know, what a horrible person I am. When I see, I'm the type of guy, if I see something that I think someone would appreciate, like I very rarely buy for myself.
Right, me too. By the way, Michael says, tell Brock he's the man. Nature is calling, but I'm refusing to answer.
Don't try to suck up to me now, Michael. All those times you sent her a text and I've got nothing.
Brock is upset that you never text him. So,
yeah, right.
Let's work on that.
It's that whole part of the not invited thing, you know? So I don't get help. I don't get the chance to put the menu together. Look, you guys, I found out live where I stand.
Why?
Here we go.
All right, so I found this article. I found it on the Gateway Pundit. Shocking. You know what? Nothing shocks me anymore. Does anything really ever shock you when a news person says, I've got shocking news? No, there's nothing shocking. That the criminal's under my bed right now, I'd be shocked by that. Other than that, I'm not really shocked. People are disgusting, they're corrupt, and they're evil. And I hate to share that with you, but you already know that's the case. Shocking. Big Pharma received emergency use approval a couple of weeks ago for COVID variant discovered a couple days ago. How is that possible? It's almost like insider trading, just worse, because they're gambling with your life and not your money. It seems like only yesterday we were reporting on the new COVID variant coming out of Africa. But within hours, there were already vaccines for the new variant. Reuters reported yesterday, Novavax Incorporated said on Friday it had started working on a version of its COVID-19 vaccine to target the variant detected in South Africa and would have the shot ready for testing and manufacturing in the next few weeks. Money, money, money. The company's COVID-19 shot contains an actual version of the virus's spike protein. How convenient. That cannot cause disease, but can trigger the immune system. The vaccine developer said it had started developing a spike protein specifically based on the known genetic sequence of the variant, B-1 or B.1.1.529. Novavax's vaccine received its first emergency use approval earlier this month. Earlier this freaking month. In Indonesia, followed by the Philippines. Other vaccine developers, including Germany's BioNTech, SC, and Johnson & Johnson, they couldn't not cash in on this. Where's Moderna? They've said they're testing the effectiveness of their shots against the new variant, which is named Omicron by the World Health Organization. As we reported last night, other companies are ready to test their vaccine within the next 2 weeks as well. Wow. Within 72 hours. You know, nobody'd even heard of the name Omicron. Now, less than 3 days, a variant's been identified. Global travel has been halted. States of emergency have been declared. And now we see pharmaceutical companies announcing the variant-specific vaccine trials that will begin in the United States in just a few weeks. This government relationship with Big Pharma is certainly generating some fast action, isn't it? Oh, I'm sure you guys want to be the guinea pigs to test this one. Does anybody else see what's going on? I know you do, because you're smart. You listen to me. It will never end. You will always need a booster. You will always need more of that magical elixir pumping into your muscles. You know, that elixir that causes a magnet to stick to you, or the one that makes you taste metal in your mouth? Is that a tip-off that maybe something's not quite right? Don't talk about that, though, because you'll be a vaccine denier. You'll probably be a Trump supporter if you say that. Disgusting. Let's talk about this a little bit more, shall we? Let's talk about this travel ban. When Trump does it, it's xenophobic. It's hateful. It's racist. But when Joe Biden does it, a little different there, huh? A little bit more of your leftist hypocrisy when the Wendy Bell radio program resumes right after this.
Hi.
I'm upset. I need to toss the Twizzlers.
Here's a fresh bag.
See, here's the problem. I don't have a way to close it.
I'll bring a freezer bag tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm not bringing them in.
Why don't they create something that's more user-friendly?
They have.
I mean, is anybody eating a 2-pound bag of Twizzlers?
Oh, wait. This has a Ziploc on it.
Ooh. Can I have one? See, I knew it was just a matter of time. Oh, for heaven's sakes. You're fingering it.
Wow.
I don't have enough scissors. Oh, that's unfair. You're going to give me something that I can't have.
Use your teeth. Hold on.
You want to go grab lunch?
I thought you were going. It's up to you. Where you want to go?
Ah! Thank you.
Thank you to the person that gave us these 2 weeks ago. You know who you are.
I have to write a thank you note to Jeff for the lip balm.
If you want to, text them because I can't. Trust me, I don't need an award to know I'm Employee of the Month. There are certain truths out there.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I was talking to the fine listeners. It says I don't need an award to say I'm Employee of the Month.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Mm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ever going to hear Toto again? It's
Yes,
been
Heather.
weeks.
We didn't open them, Heather, until right now because we didn't know there was a Ziploc on them.
On. Ugh. I need to beat that out. I need to beat it out of you.
Seriously.
It's the worst. On. It's so yins. Can we just give you a sign that says I will forever be colloquial? Just come on. I have a regional dialect issue. How about that? It's okay to hate me.
Did you text?
I did. Chillax.
Did you get a response?
I have not yet. I'll get right back to you.
So we're doing 10:30 now?
Mm-hmm.
Makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Time is not an issue when I'm the one in charge of it.
I'm in charge of the timing. I'm in charge of the menu.
I am.
I'm in charge. Everything's.
I
see
am.
how it is.
Well, finally.
I see how it is.
I determine who's employee of the month.
Know your role. It's the know your role without saying.
Stay in your lane. That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's funny. So it's only been 2.5 weeks that I've been sick. So maybe we can move on.
I don't think you're sick now. I think you're just like getting the rest of it up and out.
I don't know. I think you can still.
You should get some Mucinex or something. Would you take
Did you
something?
just call it?
Did you
Mucinex? You said Mucinex, didn't you?
Whatever.
You were channeling your inner Jussie Smollett. Your Mucinex. Racist. I just almost blew boogers on me.
That's hot.
I am so hot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and you know what? I mean, it's
How
just,
you doing?
yeah. Man, this show goes by so quickly. You guys have no idea how much enjoyment I take in talking to you every day. All right, so we do have a bunch of audio clips I want to play for you because I think they are relevant. They get you caught up with the idiocy of the left, more so than the other, well, probably equally as the other segments. Peter Doocy, again, absolutely taking Jen Psaki to task. So, as we said yesterday, this was Joe Biden's tweet on February 1st of 2020. This is after Trump, the day prior, instituted travel ban from China. Origin of COVID. Yes? This is the tweet from Joe Biden. Trump further diminished the U.S. in the eyes of the world by expanding his travel ban. This new African ban, so he was also expanding it, is designed to make it harder for Black and brown people to immigrate to the United States. It's a disgrace, and we cannot let him succeed. Also said, we're in the midst of a crisis with the coronavirus. He was tweeting all over the place this day, or whomever actually manages his accounts. We need to lead the way with science, not Donald Trump's record of hysteria, xenophobia, and fear-mongering. He's the worst possible person to lead our country through a global health emergency. Rah. You can't even, rah, right? So Peter Doocy was like, wait a minute. Joe Biden just instituted an African country travel ban. Isn't that xenophobic and racist and hysterical too? Cut number, you know what it is. Go.
Thank you, Jen. Before Joe Biden was president, he said that COVID travel restrictions on foreign countries were hysterical xenophobia and fear-mongering. So what changed?
Well, I would say first, to put it in full context, Peter, what the president was critical of was the way that the former president put out, I believe, a xenophobic tweet and how he called what he called the coronavirus and who he directed it at. The president has not been critical of travel restrictions. We have put those in place ourselves. We put them in place ourselves in the spring. But no, he does not believe. He believes we should follow the advice of health and medical experts. That's exactly what he did in putting in place these restrictions over the weekend.
You can tell when she's lying, isn't it? It's so...
Yeah, her lips are moving.
It's so obvious. Everything she says is complete BS-ery. It's laughable. It's so clear how laughable. So she said Biden is not opposed to travel bans, even though that's what he double tweeted that particular day, the first day of February 2020. I mean, let's not get lost in the nuance of what he actually tweeted. That's not what he meant. Oh, it was his words. What words were those? What xenophobic words were those? That he called it the Wuhan virus? That got her panties in a bunch? It's like the dengue fever. It's like Zika virus. It's like German measles. It's like the Spanish flu. That's xenophobic, or you're just a triggered little snowflake? Well, duh. So yesterday, Joe Biden comes out of his hyperbaric chamber briefly to talk to us about this new Omicron variant. Right? What a guy. What a leader. I'm so glad he's our leader. Listen to what is buried at the very end of his statement. Chilling. Go.
Look, I'm sparing no effort and removing all roadblocks to keep the American people safe. All of this is confusing to a lot of people. But if it's confusing to you, let me close with this simple message. If you are vaccinated, but still worried about the new variant, get your booster. If you aren't vaccinated, get that shot. Go get that first shot. My team at the White House will provide me with daily updates this week. And on Thursday, I'll be putting forward a detailed strategy outlining how we're going to fight COVID this winter, not with shutdowns or lockdowns, but with more widespread vaccinations, boosters, testing, and more. I promised every American that there will always be the latest vaccines available and the booster shots available to them and for free and everywhere available. Every single American, free of charge, and I will keep that commitment. But we need to do more than vaccinate Americans. To beat the pandemic, we have to vaccinate the world as well.
What? To beat the pandemic, we have to vaccinate the world? Well, why don't we start with the illegal people who are marching across the southern border, Joe? How about that? You want to do that? Because we can knock out a couple million right there that you've rolled out the welcome mat. Welcome home. I think we should flash back. It's a good time to flash back. This is Joe Biden on the campaign trail, talking about Donald Trump at the time, talking that Donald Trump shouldn't be president because of his abysmal failures with COVID. Let's remember what he said.
How would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
Okay, so let's make this clear. So anybody who's responsible for that many deaths, at that point, 220,000, should not be president of the United States. Well, since January 20th, when Joe Biden took office, we've lost 395,912 people to COVID. That far eclipses the 220,000. Joe's right. He should not be president of the United States. Hypocrisy is a B word, isn't it? Tough when that comes back. That boomerang comes back to bite you and club you in the back of the head. But of course, let's not forget Biden's campaign promise to all of us. A great mashup of Joe, glib Joe, pushing his purpose on the campaign trail. Go.
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm going to shut down the virus. I'll shut down the virus, not the economy. I'm going to shut down the virus. Once we shut down the virus, I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm going to shut down the virus. I'm not going to shut down the country, but I'm going to shut down the virus.
I'm going to shut down the virus. Really, how's that going? 799,508 deaths, if you believe it.
Why is he always yelling into that?
Because that, you know what? There are phases of dementia. There's the benign, genteel kind of bumbling. I don't know where I am, which is why I walk like a robot and I stand with my hands clenched like this. That's a phase. That's a telltale sign. And then there is the anger. I'm going to shut down the virus. You don't, that's just a stupid commentary. You don't shut down a virus. If you could shut down a virus, why do we have flu shots every year? We wouldn't have flu. He knows better. The only solution is for you to get vaccinated. Get another shot, get another shot, get another shot, get another shot. And it's the talking points of the left. Amy Klobuchar. I want you to listen to her. They're all drinking the same diluted Kool-Aid. You've got one recourse. There's one line of attack. There's one plan. You must not deviate from said plan. You must not question why we're entrenched in said plan. And whatever you do, don't look back at a timeline to see all of the various pieces of this puzzle that were taking shape back in the 1990s. Here's Amy Klobuchar, because she is yet another mouthpiece of leftism and lying. Go.
Democrat of Minnesota, Senator Klobuchar, thanks for joining us this morning. We just heard Dr. Fauci today. I know you guys have had a tough situation in Minnesota right now with COVID. How big a setback is this new variant?
It's hard for everyone. People have been going through hell all over the country because of this pandemic. We know that. And Dr. Fauci just gave you the answer. Get vaccinated. And right when this show is over, George, everyone watching, get your appointment to get a booster, to get your kids vaccinated. If you say you care about our healthcare workers who are increasingly exhausted, get your vaccine, get your booster. If you care about our troops who in my state right now are staffing our nursing homes, who are helping out at our hospitals, then get vaccinated, get a booster. That's his message. That's my message.
Ew. Why? I don't even need to ask you why, because we know why. It's all about the freaking dollar signs. That's what this is all about. Interesting that the New York Times delivered a dire statistic the day before Thanksgiving, admitting more people in the United States have died of the Chinese coronavirus this year under President Joe Biden's leadership than they did last year, despite the widespread availability of vaccines. The Times cited the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Tuesday figures, which reported 386,233 coronavirus-related fatalities in the United States for 2021. Citing experts, the Times attributed the increased fatalities this year on a confluence of factors, focused primarily on what it described as crucially lower than needed vaccination rates. Are you guys following the theme here? So wait a minute. More people now are vaccinated than they were last year, but more people have died this year than they did all of last year. Last year we were shut down. Last year our kids didn't go to school. Last year you weren't allowed to go to work. Come on. The vaccine is not the solution. This is why freedom-loving Americans want nothing to freaking do with it. And the harder you push and the more of your minions you move out to try to push this narrative, the more suspicious and the more knowledgeable we on the right, and I'm talking about the right versus the wrong, the more confident we are that you are disgraceful. And you're knowingly complicit in perhaps the biggest fraud ever perpetuated on humanity. Period. I was just on the More Gains Fitness website, and I love, have you guys ever worked out with kettlebells? Have you ever done yoga, Zumba, any of these fitness things that make working out actually fun and enjoyable? This is what More Gains Fitness at their 4 locations in Somerset and Cambria counties is all about. Yes, their facilities are vast. There's lots of space for you to exercise, not get near people if you don't want to. It's clean, it's professional. They've got great membership options. They're open 24/7. They've got all the bells and whistles. But they also do all these really cool classes, and it's affordable. Individual memberships for as low as like $30 a month. A family membership for, I think couples are like 50 and families are like 70. I mean, whatever, it's so affordable for you and your entire family to get healthy again. This is More Gains Fitness, run by a veteran and her family. They are top notch. Great human beings, and they're totally down with your fitness objectives. So if you've been on the fence, you haven't wanted to get yet, haven't pushed the button to join the gym yet, this is the one in Somerset and Cambria counties, More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ Fitness.com. More Gains Fitness. When we come back, have you guys heard this thing about the Salvation Army? Kind of tough time to tell white people to get in touch with their inner racist when you're asking them to give money for the holidays. And apparently the kettles haven't really been getting stuffed with green after that. Ooh, the about face by the Salvation Army. They stepped in it, didn't they? We'll talk about it coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio program. I'm not a big fan of my bill right now.
Actually, Melissa, you're wrong. We're in Missouri. We're in Virginia. What bill? I'm not happy with any of my bills.
Yeah, that was a big one I just had to pay.
Was it yours?
Well, I come with baggage.
Right.
Which is okay.
How's the airlines?
I don't know what you mean by that.
How much is it? Tickets, are they outrageous?
Well, it's about $600 to get Jack home for Christmas from LA. Yeah, I mean, everything's outrageous.
I'm going down to Nashville in May. Hopefully ticket price. I don't know if I should drive.
I don't know how far that is.
JD out.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Now's a great time to thank John D'Onofrio, the estate lawyer I trust, for being such a trusted friend and partner of this program. He's one of my sponsors for a reason, because I get behind what he does. When it's time for you to get the peace of mind to create that roadmap for the future, when you're gone, you're not here anymore, and you want your estate, your money, your hard work to go to certain people or places in a specific way, you need to sit down with a lawyer who understands. John D'Onofrio has got 40 years of estate planning. He's the legal expert who can give you that peace of mind. He's a gentleman, and he's trusted by us here at the Wendy Bell Radio program. 412-928-2068 is the number to call. Attorney John D'Onofrio. He's outstanding. You know, it's a shame when you see the Salvation Army bell ringers sitting outside in the cold, trying to get you to give a few bucks into the big kettle, and you have the feeling and the taste in your mouth that I have, because you're privy to their desire to become woke, to do what Goodwill did, to do what so many other companies did, to try to put their wokeness on the line in some kind of an effort to prove that they're really down with the struggle today. What they did is they ticked off a lot of their donors who said, no, thank you. I'm pulling my support from the Salvation Army. How's this? Salvation Army defends guide telling white people to apologize for racism. This was the story prior to the story where they say, oh, snap. We shouldn't have done that. White people don't like to be told they're racist any more than black people do. The Salvation Army recently defended an internal racism guide that discouraged colorblindness and encouraged staff members to, quote, apologize for being white. Can you imagine that? Somebody thought to themselves, this sounds like a great idea. We're going to alienate the 65%, 70% of our country that's white. Furthermore, those who actually give to our coffers, we're going to tell them, well, they should probably apologize for that white skin that they had nothing to do with. How dare you? The Salvation Army agreed, or argued, I should say, that the new guide was meant to encourage discussion about racism among members of the Salvation Army. Bull crap. It was not intended to promote discussion. What in the heck does the Salvation Army have to do with browbeating you over some sensitivity about your skin? Over the one thing in your body you can't control next to your eyes? Or whether or not you have a penis? Too soon? Little soon.
Little soon.
I'm sorry. Quote, the Salvation Army has occasionally published study guides on various complex topics, including race, to help foster positive conversations and reflection among salvationists. You know what? This is what I feel about the NBA or the NFL wanting to get involved in politics. Stay in your freaking lane. Throw the ball, catch the ball, score. That is your job. I don't need you telling me how I should vote. I don't need you telling me how I should feel about my lack of melanin. And they can suck it, and they are sucking it all the way to the empty coffers as the chill of the holiday season settles in across the fruited plain. The Salvation Army's response: oops. The holidays are a welcome reminder of the things we're grateful for and for the power of service on behalf of those who are less fortunate. The Salvation Army mission statement clearly outlines the nature of our service to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and meet human needs in his name without discrimination. Why do you need to say that? Because you're woke and you're rolling the dice on trying to ride a wave that is fizzled out. It isn't even a ripple on the water anymore, Salvation, you complete out of touch boobs. At what point did somebody in some corporate salvationist boardroom say, you know what we need to do? I think this is really going to help us out. Phil, work with me on this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are really needing to raise a lot of money because there are things that we like to do to help out. So I think the best way to do that is to, by and large, absolutely criticize, demean, slander, and insult the people who give the most money to us. You know, those white people. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that's fantastic. In fact, let's put it in writing. Let's do that. Let's create a PowerPoint presentation and maybe even leak it to the press. What could possibly go wrong with that? And let's put somebody like Jussie Smollett in charge. He's going to be needing work.
He's going to be their spokesperson.
Why doesn't he become their spokesperson? He can browbeat you. Right? Perfect. Nobody ever. So isn't that an amazing thing? We believe as the Salvation Army, our job is to give. But we're going to deviate a little bit and we're going to preach. We're going to tell you that you're a racist because you're white. You should apologize for your whiteness. I will never give to the Salvation Army again. I will never give to Goodwill again. Used to be a big champion of Goodwill. They had the same wokester internal memo of CRT garbage. Suck it. Good luck on your own. We have an option, ladies and gentlemen. You choose where you spend your money. You choose to whom you listen. You choose the facts and the data and the science. Your choice, never anybody else's. It's that time these leftists start learning that. All right, I feel better. Got a lot out my chest today. Thanks for joining us here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. Until tomorrow, keep smiling and call out a leftist in your life. Feels good.